All right, all right. I guess that's how we're going to open up today. We're going to pay homage. As some people would say, we're going to pay a couple bills, right? Courtesy of those opportunities out there that we seek to endeavor every day. In this case, we're going to go ahead and plug Webull, right? Because they're the only platform out there pretty much that we all know that are giving, that's pretty much just giving away money like it's no tomorrow. Again, we couldn't make this stuff up literally. They're just throwing stocks to anybody, right? Because they realize that the goal to financial freedom starts with a stock investment. And what better way to get you acclimated into an opportunity such as investing and trading than to go ahead and fund you out the gate, right? They're going to throw you three free stocks just for signing up. Of course, if you go ahead and deposit $100, that's how you get three free stocks. If you just sign up without depositing money, they'll throw you a free stock. All right. But of course, you get the chance to pick up two more if you sign up and deposit $100. So look at it from the perspective that you get ready to put your money to work anyway. It don't cost you nothing, and you gain from it. So again, plug in Webull today because I understand that a lot of people who are, you know, out there watching a lot of you guys make it happen in the markets every day. They're trying to figure out how can they, be a part of that in some kind of way without necessarily asking you outright. Some of them are intimidated. Some of them are a little, thinking that it's more than what it is. And until they really find out, of course, then we'll have to do what we can to get them lured in, right? So of course, the idea of giving people free stocks or free money without them trying to say it's some hidden agenda, which it isn't. I think it's the best way to get people excited about investing. What do you guys think? Right? I think so. Right. And so with that being said, again, peace, power, and profit to the family on this Saturday, on this November the 14th. Again, the day after Friday the 13th, right? Whether that have any relevancy or not, I will leave that up to the people, right? But for us, of course, we're using it as I guess, a sign to see how markets react to these superstitious scenarios, right? But anyway, if that was the case, we saw a market that just crawled higher the entire day, all day Friday, right? It seemed as if there were no pullbacks. And the federal printing press was on their duty Friday, and you guys saw it just like I did. The market could do no wrong. It just went up all day, low volume melt up, kind of like what was witnessing back in April and May. And the short sellers were just frustrated because they couldn't do nothing about it. The Feds had operations that were totaling upward towards $500 billion plus, sometimes going into the market, supporting it. Of course, again, taking advantage of the this kind of risk on reality where people say, hey, if nothing else, we got the stock market, right? Because we don't know what the future may hold, and we're going to make sure we are still heavily invested. Because what do they have to feel? Fear. They have nothing to fear after what we just witnessed again over the prior 7 to 8 months, where we had a very accommodative Federal Reserve, that is, Jerome Powell coming out before every meeting that he was able to speak to the actual American, speak to the average corporate American. And I say corporate America because I think that's an entirely new, different citizen, right? There's corporate America, and then there's Main Street, right? So corporate America hears something different when the Federal Reserve speaks to the world, right, or to America. Right? Main Street hears, okay, well, are there any benefits or perks in there for me? And chances are, if you don't own equity assets, then chances are it probably isn't. Right? They're going to send you to your nearest, legislature, break your Congress or whoever, and they're going to say, hey, these are the people you need to lobby to get you a bag because we can't do it by policy value, right? We can't do it by any kind of special needs or mandate. That's not what we're here for. We're here to backstop the overall economy. Well, I say, what is the overall economy besides the people who pay taxes and lift it up? Of course, then they'll push back and say it's not in the form of an establishment. You are individual, entity in itself. You're not necessarily a business. And I push back again. I say, well, I think we're all walking businessmen, all walking business women. We pay taxes, right? You are being taxed. by way of birth alone, right? They're gonna find a way to get some out of you. But of course, that's all the lingo and the jargon, and we get all that. But nonetheless, again, just touching on some of these topics today, of course, in this week in review. Thank y'all for tuning in again. This is your brother African Poor. I know you guys are busy. It's Saturday. You got family, you have friends, you have fun going on, you have chill moments going on. If there's any sporting events going on right now, whatever the case, you're enjoying your day, and definitely well deserved, of course, for all of us. We've been through one heck of a 7-8 months, and it seems as if we're coming to an end of it to a degree, even though we know that we're actually probably getting ready to go right back through another storm with the way this coronavirus is packing another punch and picking up again. We may just be back into another somewhat of a structured lockdown. And of course, we're going to talk about that a little bit this evening. Don't want to kind of stay on too long with with the overkill, but of course, if it goes there, we'll go there, right? So, with that being said, of course, as you can see down in the description box, I like to have some kind of value information to share with the family, so it won't be just like an empty space. So, some of the talking points, of course, definitely COVID-19, obviously. Our homie Senor Trump, right? I mean, he's always over the in the tabloids, all over the airways, with something unique or interesting to talk about. So, of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the interesting turn of events with him. The other day in the Rose Garden, giving a press conference, updating the American people after the press actually put pressure on him, since he's been hiding out. Literally, he's been hiding out since that very first, the second meeting, press conference he did after the election, post-election. He's just been, again, golfing every day. Literally, y'all know he's owns a golf course not too far from where I stay, actually, over here in Sterling area. He was at Trump National for the most part of that, actually doing the thick of the coronavirus. People were getting sick and infected, and of course, he was golfing. Like, hey, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, it is what it is. I'm worried about see if I can get some of this election, balance turned in my favor. Y'all got to do that coronavirus pretty much on young, right? But again, I'm paraphrasing, but in a lot of ways, again, convinced me that that was not the energy that you guys may have picked up as well. I could be wrong. Of course, these are just my opinions. I don't mean to upset any Trump fans or anybody who might be a Biden and might be like, you're right, but I'm just trying to display some kind of form of logic and reason, right? Because I got a brain that was given to me from my parents, and I love the fact that I'm using it, right, for something more than just following along what anybody say or do. And I implore you guys to take that same stance in life, because, of course, this is your experience, right? Not somebody else's experience. It's not a Republican experience. It's not a Democratic experience. It's not a, gay midget, Smurf legend, whoever. This is your experience in the flesh as an individual. So take advantage of the ability to rationale, reason, and use logic as a tool to be objective and not someone who's always willing to fall for anything, right? Of course, that's what we do over here. We're thinking, right? We're a conscious channel, right? We are conscious financial beings, right? If there is such a thing, we are it, right? That needs to be a t-shirt moment, right? All right. Again, so thank y'all for tuning in again. So again, Trump, COVID-19, Trump, the lockdown. Of course, that's another topic. We're going to discuss that a little bit. It's starting to happen, right? It's starting to happen. We talked about that it potentially could happen again. Some people like, no way it's not going to happen. Well, hey, what are we dealing with right now? Got curfews on the table, right? You got various states, various cities are starting to now implement these things. Of course, you have a new so-called coronavirus task force that's been put together somewhat, off the record, but on the record with, President-elect Joe Biden. And, they're pretty much coming out saying what we kind of already knew, where they were going to lean at some point, had the virus not kind of, receded somewhat, that they would definitely, consider locking down, right? If it's just for a short stint or whatever the case, well, his new press secretary or secretary of press, whatever it is, chief of staff, excuse me, he came out and pretty much said that, with the way things are going, if we don't, we do not get a handle of this, we'll look, to be somewhat in a lockdown for 4 to 6 weeks, right? 4 to 6 weeks, right? So basically a month and a half or a month, whatever, however you want to call it, split it, whatever, right? So are you guys ready to go back in lockdown, right? That's the question. Of course, I would pose to anybody: are you ready to go back into lockdown? Right? And what does lockdown seem, look like to you at this point? Right? Is it so much of a hindrance, or is it more so, you know what, we need this because we found that a lot of people around here are very what selfish. They're not scientifically literate. They just saying, forget that, I'm gonna go hard. Could it be just they're what got have COVID fatigue? They're tired of all this. They sat and watched all the politicization of this, how they made this out to be more than um, a bigger problem than it could have been. That it shouldn't have been. Excuse me. And the end result is that here we are getting ready to potentially go back into another lockdown. Right? Some people were never able to return back to work. Some people just trying to getting ready to start work. Whatever that's out there available at this point. And again, here you go, getting ready to potentially go back into lockdown. Right? So a lot of people ain't ready to deal with that, and I get it. And for the most part, again, I say this from a place that, of course, those of us who trade the markets, right? From all aspects, of course, different asset classes, forex, crypto, binary options trading, equity, whatever. We're kind of used to that kind of sedentary life. We're used to somewhat being stationary, taking advantage of the markets, especially as long as we can while the market is open, because we're constantly hunting and searching for what opportunity. So we're okay with being stationary, right? And it just kind of like it's business as usual with us because we still have a means of way. What means to what? Take care of ourselves to a degree, right? Or at least to go out there and search for opportunity through the financial markets, right? Which is somewhat to me is a universal, sin of epic proportions in terms of having that kind of level of power at your, at your helm. You should feel excited about that, right? You should be excited, that, regardless of whatever happens, if the world stops around you, well, we know one thing for certain: they're not going to close down and stop that stock market. You best believe that. They'll shut down your little job before they shut down that stock market. Let that marinate. They will shut down an NFL game, an NBA game, a Major League Baseball game, an NHL game, a tennis match, a golf session. They will shut down track and field, right? They will shut down racing events, NASCAR, right? They will shut down all of that, right? But one thing for certain, that stock market will be open. We just had Veterans Day, right? Shout out to all the veterans out there. Salute, peace, power, and profit. Who are to you, right? Simplify all that, right? We again, Veterans Day, somewhat of a federal holiday. Banks were closed, all right? The banks were closed, but guess what was open? Stock market. So of course, if that says a lot, then accept it. Realize that people still realize that the power of wealth building in it, in its entirety to generate, revenue or income for the participants of it are phenomenally, set where you'll always be in a position to win. Let me repeat that. You will always be in a position to win if you are an investor or you're a trader. And again, think about that from a place where you're not having to submit any, extra time that you typically wouldn't even, that you obviously wouldn't have on a job, right? You got, let's say 7, 8 hours, 10 hours on a job. Where the market is open, what? A potent how many hours? 9:30, what to what? 10:30, 11:30, 4, well, excuse me, 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, right? 2:30, 3:30, what? 4, right? So you got what? 7.5 hours to get it in. 7 hours basically. You won't say that, right? So that's about the time what? Of what it would take to be on a job, right? What it would take to somewhat be on a job, right? If you really think about it from that perspective. So, when we punch the clock, of course, our time clock obviously gives us an expansion time or overtime, or what we call time and a half, right? We get time and a half because the markets are open every morning at 4 a.m. 4 a.m. We're open for business. And we also get a chance to get what? Overtime, right? Overtime Markets stay open to all the way to what? 8 p.m. And that's before we even talk about, the graveyard shift, right? The futures market, right? Especially on a weekday. And also, of course, Sundays at 6 p.m. when it opens up again for business. So we have a somewhat of a round the clock, free for all of opportunity. And that's, of course, just one asset lane, equity stocks, things of that nature, right? Of course, there's still cryptocurrency 24/7. It's like, Las Vegas all in one. Crypto 24/7 opportunity. You can trade it, you can invest in it, whatever you choose, whatever your poison, you can get at it. So again, we are, a unique set of people, and we have a unique set of skills, and we are privy to a unique opportunistic environment that a lot of people given the opportunity to learn this thoroughly wouldn't mind being in if they really had the mentality to learn how to deal with that. Because of course we're not, again, subjected to what? Somebody else's ability to tell us when we can and cannot make money. So the power actually is in the hands of the people, right? They say that, power is in the hands of the people, right? Well, we have to start realizing that if that is the case, then let's act like it and stop sitting around acting as if these little elections or selections or whatever you want to call them are the end all be all to your existence of how you should govern your life, right? Just not work that way. Of course, you got a brain, use it. Realize that, of course, you have more power than you've given yourself. And a lot of it because, again, we haven't been taught anything of substance to really, make us feel empowered, because the media is there to constantly bombard you with all this particular, fear, anxiety, whatever the case, right? Whether that's the target goal or not, but that's what happens a lot when you cut on. It's like a lot. Sometimes it's depressing. Not that you would be depressed, like, okay, they ain't talking about nothing but the same stuff, right? So ain't nothing really popping here, right? Unless it seems to have some kind of relevancy in your life. But outside of that, of course, you're dealing with what everybody else is dealing with, right? Trying to, stay well informed best you can. Of course, you have to be a little bit, your own detective, right? Your own reporter, right? In order for you to be in a position to be able to be substantially what? Free, as we like to say, right? Of course, right? Because we are in the information age, and information rules in this day and age in terms of knowledge, right? As I always say, knowledge brings power. Knowledge brings power. Power brings profit, right? Let me repeat that. Knowledge brings power. Power brings profit. It is not that hard. Put it in the context and realize you go to school to get knowledge, which gives you some kind of form of what? Educational power to be a what? Negotiator of what? Your life and existence when it comes to a job market, in order to be able to try to what? Obtain profits in the form of a paycheck, right? We gain knowledge, a strong sense of self-worth in what we do. We understand that we are the generator, distributor, right? Organizer, seller, owner, operator of our existence. And we take that power and apply it to equity markets, crypto markets, the Forex market, binary options, owning on our own businesses, whatever the case, buying property, whatever the case. And then we obtain our profit by way of that. What's the difference? What's the difference? One may take you down a path that puts you into in debt if you have to go through getting student loans to get that education. Of course, there ain't nothing wrong with getting the education. That's not what I'm saying, implying. Knowledge obviously brings an articulate value, a way to think, right? To be a little bit more objective and critical thinking. That sometimes comes out of a higher learning institution, but it comes at a price. It comes at a price, and there's no guarantee, right? If degrees depended upon you having a guarantee, right, that you will have a job when as soon as you graduate, then woo, yeah, it'll be a lot more expensive than it is right now. I guarantee you that, right? It'll be a lot more expensive than it is right now. So, of course, for us, our form of institutional learning revolves around YouTube, Google, Discord rooms, Facebook private groups and investing groups, digital PDF books, whatever we can find to get some knowledge on learning how to what? Better equip ourselves to strategize in or around the financial markets. Stocks run all the time. I repeat, stocks run all the time. Your clock gets punched, your time is done until the next race. That next morning, our clock keeps running. Our money keeps growing. Our opportunities keeps coming. What does that also reveal? That, of course, in this day and time, since we have the topic of discussion, we're going to talk about a few different things, of course. COVID-19, Trump lockdown, Federal Reserve, right? Also, the 7 stages of grief, right? People have been dealing with that with the coronavirus, right? Right? People, maybe have lost a loved one, lost their job, whatever the case, right? Tired of, again, COVID fatigue, you name it, right? We're going through a lot of different emotions right now, a lot of different things that we're witnessing. We went through an election from a place of, abnormality for once in this country during a pandemic, and what that looked like. People still getting out there, despite it all, saying they still going to cast their ballot because they ultimately still believe that the path to freedom in this country goes through an elected official, or at least by way of one, and not yet have realized that the power is already set up for them to succeed, void of one. To get someone to take that mindset is like pulling teeth, right? It's like pulling teeth, right? So that becomes a scenario where, again, we have to start formulating a more progressive, objective mindset, right? To be very conscious in everything and everything we say and everything we do, right? Because people are looking for, environments where they can kind of latch in and say, okay, I can deal with this. This is kind of right within, my framework of, empathy, pity, sympathy, all that. Everybody dealing with something, right? But I'm like, okay, well, let's grow, right? Let's take advantage of this time and let's grow, right? Let's see if we can grow something. Let's see if we can evolve, into something greater than what we've obviously previously have been set up to look at as a point of success, right? Let's go out there and formulate a blueprint to make our own success become relevant to us. And so, when we thinking about the 7 stages of grief course, that's obviously a a somewhat of a backdrop to what we're dealing with right now with the presidential election, because it has become it's serious to some and it's comical to others, right? It's serious for some and comical to others. And then there's other scenarios where people are like, man, look, I don't care what happened, because you know what? It does not affect me one way or the other. It does not affect me one way or the other. But again, understanding that you may have some of the different lingering effects when it comes to dealing with your particular existence inside of this pandemic scenario. Again, lost a job, can't go to work, possibly, whatever the case. Maybe got kids at home. That's kind of a little bit more nerve wracking. Whatever the case, right? Full house scenario, right? Full house, right? And so, trying to accept all that, but still, feel like, everything is okay, right? You might be trying to deal with all this inside, on your own, to have no way to kind of, vent or let it out, right? And you may having moments of grief within your own self, But for the most part, of course, we talk about Senor Trump today, as you see, right? The picture says, of course, I never, miss a moment to have a little fun. Of course, if you are a Trump fan, don't get any feeling, because I don't look at these people no more than average people, right? Average people, right? That may not sit well for a person who has a savior complex, and you look at these people as your savior, then I don't know what else to tell you. That dog just don't hunt over here like that. Right? That's just the reality, right? So, 7 stages of grief. the Donald Trump edition. Matter of fact, before I go there, right? Let's y'all know how this stuff go. All right, before I go there, all right, let's have a little moment. All right, let's get that national anthem popping off one time, right? Because the national anthem, we got to, set this thing up just right, right? Before we get this thing popping, right? We got to make sure we pay a couple bills. We got to make sure, all the proper channels being hit. We got to make sure, that we pay respect to, to the manager in chief at this point, right? You got to, we got to, got to make sure we pay the way for that, right? I need to speak to the manager, right? Because we're gonna go in about a lot of different things tonight. So before we get this thing cracking a little bit, right? Let me go and play that national anthem one more time, because sometimes we need to lighten up a little bit before we get a chance to go in. So without further ado, here is the new national anthem by Muhammad. Let it rip. I'm just saying, with moves like that and a voice like that, how could you go wrong, right? That's what we're standing up to, if you ask me, right? Everybody want to take a kneel at when the national anthem comes on. I think that's a better one right there. All right, so again, peace, power, and profit, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. If you just popping in, thank you for coming through today, hanging out with your brother for an hour, a minute. I appreciate it all. Thank you for tuning in. So, of course, again, we're talking about this weekend review to a degree, going over a few things. Of course, we're going to talk about the stock market, but the elephant in the room, right? This election, right? We're day what? I don't know, 12 after the election, right? And we're still trying to figure out, what's this, mockery is all about. What's the situation? If there needs to be recounts, if it is a fraud, however, right? Again, we're looking pretty bad, and that's just in the eyes of other countries who's looking at us like, what is this? And so it could just be, that there's some grief and some, some scenarios where we just can't come to a consensus, right? It could, again, obviously, personal. It's personal, right? It's personal, right? Whether you're Republican or Democrat, right? Of course, if you're Democrat, you're saying they don't even know what recount, right? My guy won fair and square. Deal with it, right? He even had an additional 5 million popular votes than the losing guy. If that don't say we won, I don't know what to say. No matter if you try to do recounts, you're going to tell me, well over a third or 2/3 of that popular vote itself is going to swing towards Donald Trump, right? Let's think about that, again, objectively and logically. What's the percentage of human error that would cause over 5 million extra votes to turn and go towards the other candidate, to the degree where it'll also affect some of these states with the electoral college votes that gives a big boost? Think about that for a moment. Seriously. Now, we know he had some narrow margins in some places than others. Of course, it was obvious that, it came down to the wire, literally, because him, meaning Trump, came out of his own mouth and said to his base, his constituents, do not do mail-in balloting. Go to the polls personally. Show up in a force and show your American pride by going and standing in line and casting your ballot for me. Despite the coronavirus, despite elderly people with pre-existing conditions and putting themselves in harm's way just to go so-called show some kind of form of allegiance to Trump, do not cast that mail-in ballot. We want to show, the world that we are what? A unique group. And of course, what happened? They went out there in their numbers to try to support the president, and it didn't work. It did not work. Thus far, it has not worked. And so could it be that he's going through, like any person would go through, right? In a shocking or traumatic experience, they're going through grief, right? Stages of grief, right? So, of course, the first one is what? Shock, right? Of course, Trump said if he does not get reelected, he would consider leaving the country because he could not fathom losing to someone like Sleepy Joe Biden. Of course, his words, not mine. His words, not mine. He could not fathom losing to a person like Sleepy Joe Biden. So what does that really say? Like, there's no way I'm losing. And if y'all cause me to lose, then it's gonna be everybody else's fault except the reality or the truth of what really just took place. That maybe people was like, hey, there's just certain things that we just not rocking with you on this time around. Could it just be just that? And so shock, obviously, what? It's the initial paralysis at hearing the bad news. What was the bad news, right? That it was clear that some of these so-called red states that were, loyal, loyal Republican states or enclaves actually turned red this election. Turned from red to blue. They turned blue. Case in point, of course, the state of Arizona, right? Maricopa County, all those areas out there, right? Which is obviously a very big Mesoamerican population. I say Mesoamerican because I'm not going to use all that other, race classifications, these old, sidebar racial classification like Latino. No, these are Mesoamerican people that live most in that area. And oddly so, a lot of them, within, that demographic, and also, of course, a lot of the, white suburban people that live in that area, of course, they like to or tend to vote what? Republican. But this time around, it turned blue. Democrats somehow showed up and showed out. And it might just be, like I said before, it could be that people still may have a Republican mindset, but just wanted to say, hey, it's just you, right? Right? We're not laughing with you, we're laughing at you. Although we still hang around you. Could it just be it's that kind of scenario? Right? Again, of course, that's up to whoever's trying to, make sense of all this. But I'm just going off the stages of grief and trying to put some kind of level or shape or, some context to it, right? Dress it up a little bit, right? Put some shoes on it, right? Right? Slap a little, bow tie on it or whatever the case. But could it just be? Right? So that bad news, that initial bad news hit, when it became apparent that, of course, a lot of the states that, Trump figured he would win when they became, when they became obvious, but then the flip side is that the states that he figured he would win, that he won the previous election, turned blue. Then I think reality began to really set in that he was up for a dogfight. Of course, we've looked at the map before. We know that, of course, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, that little stretch right there, that Central America, North Central America area there, really dealt him a death blow. Let's be honest. Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, and Illinois. Okay, let's not even talk about Ohio. Ohio, we know Ohio always plays a major role in elections. We get that, right? We get that. But we're talking about everything else around that daggered the ideal of Trump winning. Illinois, 20 electoral college votes. Illinois, Michigan, 16 electoral college votes. Wisconsin, 10. Minnesota, 10. Right? It dwarfs Ohio's little 18. Right? It dwarfs Indiana little 11. Right? It dwarfs Iowa 6. These little surrounding states that are, in around that area. So, of course, again, that shock and awe became very apparent. And then forget about it. We already know the East Coast. Even the state of Virginia, right, turned blue. The state of Virginia, a lot of that was obviously probably orchestrated by the D.C. region, right? Suburbia, D.C. region, Alexander, Arlington, Falls Church, Vienna, Manassas, everything in that area, of course. Tyson's Corner, out Sterling, Reston. Some of the people like, man, look, right? You cool and everything, but no, I think it might be time for a change. So Maryland definitely, everything on that east corridor, void of Pennsylvania, because that became a toss-up, was lit up blue. It was lit up blue from Maine all the way down, like I say, to VA. It lit up that entire northeast corridor, blue like Christmas lights, until obviously Pennsylvania got called for Joe Biden. So again, that grief, right? That grief, right? Right? That the 7 stages of grief. Shock, initial paralysis, hearing the bad news. Of course, he got it, couldn't deal with it. He figured he'd be a shoe in for another win. The Trump rallies, y'all saw it, the flags in everybody's yard. People driving in big convoys on the road with Trump flags, America this, MAGA this, the paraphernalia MAGA all over the place. It was a MAGA fest. I mean, y'all saw it just like I did. Of course, again, it was a MAGA fest. You can't deny that his marketing and PR skills are genius. He got his base galvanized, ramped up, amped up, but it was just not enough. These were a potent group of people, but it wasn't enough. It was not enough. And so, of course, we saw that, right? So, of course, the MAGA fans were like, man, look, bruh, like, this can't be real, right? This cannot be real. Because right now, they're grieving too right now. They're grieving as we speak. The MAGA crowds are grieving as we speak. Today, in my backyard, literally, here in my back, in this DC region, what took place today? Right? What took place today? Right? You had, again, couldn't make this stuff up, right? Could not make this stuff up. Today, right? You had the Million MAGA March on Washington today. If this ain't no copycat mess, if I ever seen something of the nature of the sort, a Million MAGA March. I mean, I can only imagine how Louis Farrakhan is feeling right now. Like, seriously? You're gonna attach, my moniker to your movement after y'all done demonized me, castrated me in the eyes of media, this, that, and the third, and all of a sudden now you guys are using my moniker, right, to try to drum up support. The Million MAGA March, right? Again, I ain't making fun, but again, we just keeping it 100. Let's have a little, again, let's go there, right? Right, let's go there a little bit, right? The Million MAGA March. And so, again, what, it's weird too, because it's like a dose. They get a chance to get a dose of that same medicine that a lot of people who are fed up with police brutality and inequality, the injustices of this justice system, right? The judicial system, whatever. And now they're going to march on what they consider to be an election coup. Literally, they think this is an election coup to get their guy out of office. To the tune where it's some fraudulent behavior, right? Some malfeasance scenarios going on, right? Seriously. So to make that kind of to take that kind of stance is to say that this election process or this democratic situation that this country has is what? Antiquated. That is fraudulent. And so other countries and nations who look on at this country as a point of, reference, as a, I guess a more, controlled environment, obviously at this point it's not so much that. And it's kind of making the, or presenting itself as a somewhat of a third world. I hate to use that word, that terminology, excuse me, but this so-called third world scenario in terms of its election scenario, right? Well, when you got all these dictators, if you don't vote for me, we're gonna burn your house down, kill your dogs and your pigs and all that. Like, you got no choice. Vote for me, and that's it. That's it. That's the only candidate you got is me, right? Excuse me. Allah, Israel. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, my bad. That slipped out. Let me take me a little drink. Right? But this is it. So the Million MAGA March. I mean, I was thinking about, maybe going down to New Vegan, getting me a nice little, vegetarian plate, some vegan mac and cheese and greens and all that. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that traffic. I don't want to deal with that traffic because these people are packed in the DC like a tuna can. DC ain't but so big as it is. And you got all these people down here. Not that they even had 1 million people, because I don't think they had 1 million people now. But nonetheless, I didn't want to see all that old, hypocrisy flying, right? I didn't want to see all that hypocrisy through the form of their paraphernalia flying all around. And I just like, man, not today. Not that I'm against anybody from standing up for their rights and this, again, I just was like, no, I ain't got time for that today. Because again, I'm still moving off what? Logic and reasoning. I've yet to see this smoking gun. When I say the smoking gun, show us the evidence. Come on. Seriously, show us the evidence. Right? You can't just use a lot of hearsay, right? You should know more than anybody, right? You can't use a whole lot of hearsay as a basis to formulate this ideal of fraud. The people that work for him are saying there is nothing there. What else you want us to do? He even forced his attorney general and Barr to, try to somewhat ignite all these so-called federal, watchdogs out there to try to find something, just something. And they still came back, man, it ain't nothing out there. So what do you do? How long can these so-called MAGA supporters keep up with this? Because the longer this festers, the more it's going to turn to what? Bitter resentment. Y'all know how this stuff works. We're talking about what? 7 stages of grief today. But we also talking about what? This other part of this too. Right? What happens when you cannot accept reality? And it becomes what? Like a violent rage inside of you. Because you talk about the people who are there at this rally today are all the people who were like in Charlottesville, the Proud Boys, the what's the other group? What's the other little so-called, they call them somewhat supremacy group. That's what the FBI called them. Not my words, the FBI called them that. Proud Boys, and what's the other ones? I forgot the other name of those guys. Y'all might know them. But anyway, they there too. All of them. Some of them same people that ran over that girl in Charlotte, they're at this million MAGA march as well. Let that marinate. So they're going through the same stages of grief with their guy, right? Their guy got them out there on Broadway, in a Broadway looking very suspect. Not making this stuff up. Again, you guys follow the news like I do. So this weekend review, we're going to talk about it all. Because, we don't shy away from reality. Because, again, these things don't float our boat. Right? This does not keep, opportunity from, washing up on our shores one way or the other, no matter what. So those 7 stages are very, real. They use this in clinical evaluations. Right? True story. This is stuff, that's a part of the DSM, the DSM-5, what's the newest one, DSM-5, DSM-6, right? The 7 stages, right? Shock, denial, anger, bargaining, depression, testing, and acceptance, right? So, of course, if we had to put this all in context, where y'all think Trump would be right now? Is he still in the initial shock phase? Is he in denial phase? Right? Is he in the anger phase? Is he starting the bargaining phase now? Is he going through depression? Is he coming out on the back end now? Is he going through the testing of seeking solutions or an acceptance mode? Where is he right now? Some 12 days after the election, or of course in this case, 11 days, something like that. 11 days after the election, where is Donald Trump on the 7 stages of grief? Because obviously, y'all seeing him, y'all been seeing a move like I've been seeing a move. He done dug himself in the White House or on the golf course. Coronavirus cases are raging across the country right now, whether you believe it or you don't. They spiking up everywhere. Hospitals are starting to be overrun again. And Buddy Rowe, right, is out there golfing. Or if he's not on golfing, he on Twitter doing what? Right here, spamming. Right? That's why I got this picture up there. Because he the king of trolling. Let's keep it real. Y'all know Trump is the king of trolling. He is the spam doctor. He is spam fried hard with sunny side up eggs. True story. Not making this up. Don't get any feelings. Just accept the reality that this guy has people up in arms about what? And I say what because I want to see the proof like anybody else. I want to see it. Right? 21 lawsuits filed by him and his legal team. 21. How many has he won so far? Do anybody know? Do anybody know in the back chat? Trump has filed 21 lawsuits. How many has he won? Go in the back chat. Somebody tell me how many has Trump won in his 21 lawsuit salute? It's like 21 gun salute, right? What was that? That rap song that Tupac put out, 21 gun salute. The realest that wasn't the realest one he ever wrote. I forgot that y'all knows what I'm talking about. That's Trump right now. He got a 21 lawsuit salute, right? How many has he won? This it is weird too, right? Because you would think, with the way that you got not a million, but this million man mega march on Washington to cement the fact that there is somewhat quote unquote fraud, you would think that they actually got somewhat evidence of some proof. Keep in mind, these lawsuits were already in effect before this million man march. Million MAGA, excuse me, let me not disrespect Farrakhan movement. This million MAGA march. How many has he won? Right? You can't again. Hey. You can't be running around here throwing around all these incendiary terminology, incendiary talking points and this, that, and third, and you ain't got no W's, right? Right? Because that's important, is it not? Right? So, of course, it's important to put that in the context. So, 21 lawsuits filed as of today, or could have changed obviously within a few hours. So no, but as of today, he only has won one out of 21 lawsuits. One, and the one that he had no merit in changing the outcome of that process of the election that he was contesting. Couldn't make this stuff up. Right? Again, let's go there because we're talking about what? The stages, right? These 7 stages agree. Well, you say, well, what does that got to do with the stock market? It has a lot to do with the stock market because the stock market can't do what it probably need to do because it's still, waiting to figure out what it's going to do with all this, this drama. Right? Clear as day, right here. As you see here, this is Business Insider, right? Business Insider publication here. This thing says what? I mean, clear as day. You see what's going on here. Republicans have won just one out of the 21 lawsuits they filed in the wake of the election day so far. Man, that's a bad batting average there. That is a bad batting average there. They got their man sitting up here looking like, bruh, this picture of him right here says a lot. This is a guy that came out literally a day after the first initial aspect of the election, or matter of fact, the same night in the AM hours, and said he won just because at that point he was up in some of the states, as if the voting at that point stops and he automatically wins again. Whose man is this? B, my New York stance right now. Whose man is this that comes out during the middle of an election that's still being counted and calls the the election right away and says he automatically wins because some of the states, he was already up in them and said, no, the election's over. Basically, that's it. I won, bro. Whose man is this? And if you vouch for that in that moment, look, what does that say about you? I'm just, again, I'm asking some very simple questions, because if we're gonna be objective here, and you want people to hear you out, when I say anybody here, if you are a Trump person, if you even on the Biden side, you know, presenting your cases, I'm look, I'm like anybody else objective thinking. Where's your, present your case, right? 21 lawsuits, one, one, right? The one in Pennsylvania so far as Trump victory doesn't affect the results. What does that say? Right? That one that he won in Pennsylvania does not affect the results. Again, you see right here in this little piece here, it says, faced with the prospect of losing to a man he spent months hammering as corrupt, doddering, mentally deficient, right? Uh, man, Donald Trump is going on offense, spreading lies and conspiracy theories about a rigged election marred by what? Major fraud from Democrats. So that means you got to be able to provide proof. These people are supposed to be intelligent people. I'm just saying, he's alternated between demanding that some states stop counting. Remember, you say all that, right? Stop counting, keep counting. Stop counting the states that still, got ballots still need to be counted, right? And that it's not, in his favor, but keep counting the state, the ballots of people where, he's winning at. Again, whose man is this, B? Whose man is this? Man, look, seriously. Seriously, again, it reminds me. It reminds me of that one, this one here, right? Again, this your homie. This y'all homie, man. I'm just saying, stop counting but recount, right? The spider suit, Trump, right? Stop counting all the mail-in ballots, but keep counting them empty poll ballots, right? And he coming out the back of the paddy wagon, man. Screw the planet. Hey, man. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just asking. I'm asking some very basic questions, right? Because again, whose man is this? Who's not like, hey, bro, this ain't how this works. There's a process here. The same way you did in 2016, you didn't call fraud then. You didn't raise no issues of what? Voter fraud then. And you lost the popular vote. You just won the electoral college. You didn't say that Hillary should have had a chance to get what? To do a massive recount and go through all that then. In all fairness, you didn't. You had, and matter of fact, he was walking around bragging and bolstering that he won by a landslide. He used that same talking point for months. We won by a landslide. We won by a landslide. It wasn't even close. We mopped her up. 300 and what? 60 electoral college votes to her 217, 230. Basically the same thing that he's losing by right now. That's how he won against Hillary Clinton. Ain't that something? Right? Ain't that something? So again, if we got people out here all around DC in a million MAGA march, right? A million MAGA march. All around DC with a little flag. This could be their last little jamboree. That's how I look at it, like a little jamboree, right? This their last little, moment around. Like it's like, I know you disrespect my Muslim fan, but like when you go to the Kaaba, you go around in circles around the Kaaba in Mecca, right? This might be their, again, DC is their Mecca. Of course, in this case, because 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the White House down there, right? They marching around the White House like it's the Kaaba in Mecca. I couldn't make this stuff up. Right? They're in a million MAGA march right now. I'm just saying, y'all help me out with this one. Y'all help me out in this one. Do we not take this, again, do we take it serious? Do we not take it serious? Yeah, because again, it's going to come to a point, like I said earlier, think about this guy from a clinical perspective. To now anger, shock, all these different things, seven stages of grief, obviously can turn to what? Vitriol, hate, and then cause you to lash out. That's why all these armed militia groups are at this rally too. They're looking for some way to detox. And some would say they're looking for a fight. Who they gonna fight? I don't know. Ain't nobody sitting around DC protesting against them, coming into DC with this million MAGA mark. Most people looking at them laughing. Like, man, this is comical. Because they're like everybody else that's logical, reasoning, and rational, saying, hey, just show us the evidence, bro. You got some evidence? Yeah, let's get it. Right? Right? Because I know Democrats just as sleazy and fraud and slimy as Republicans, just as greasy, slimy, and fraud too. Let's be honest. Right? They're just as sleazy and slimy on both sides. Again, two wings on the same buzzer. Two wings on the same buzzer. So again, y'all know my stance, so you can't cut me sideways, right? Because you already know how I feel about both of the parties. Because I realize now that the path to salvation in this country is not going to go through a political arm. It's going to go through you having your own value or power that you're going to have to take and find ways to make your life sufficient for you, void of them, much as possible. Void of them, much as possible. It's simple as that. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Right? We don't stay up studying in the wee hours of the morning just to feel like we have to go, and devote our entire existence to a Republican or a Democratic or whatever party. No. I use the words of Kamala Harris, right? I'm not going to do nothing just for black people. No. I'm not going to do nothing just for black people. No. But she was begging for that vote, though. She was begging for that black vote. Putting on Timberlands, using hot sauce, saying that she listened to Tupac while she was in college. And man, look, bruh, if this ain't the most phony, fake, and people, again, will give these people a pass. They give them passes every day, but they won't give you not one chance if you mess up or say something or do something wrong. They hold your feet to the fire to the point where you burn your toenails off. But when it comes to these fake politicians and politicians, they won't hold their feet to the fire. You go to the ballot you go to a ballot or a ballot booth to demand tangibles. You do not go to a ballot booth to exercise your right to what? Waste your time. Because that's basically what you do when you go to vote for somebody if you feel like you don't get nothing out of it. You're going to burn gas, get sweaty, risk getting COVID to go stand in line to cast a ballot for what again? I didn't say who, but for what again? Someone help me with that. I mean, I can't be the only person who's from the universe, right? I'm sorry, I just can't. Let's roll some of this bean footage real quick. Let's entertain this for like a hot second, right? Let's entertain this for a hot second, all right? So let's pull it back here to I think around here when they kind of setting up this sound bite here, or this just happened a couple hours ago. If that, it's still fresh off the press, right? You see, it's still a little daylight there, so around about 4 o'clock, somewhere around there, 3 o'clock at this time frame. This one, and somewhere around there, 4 or 5.
What's going on where you are? Well, these around me are some of the president's most passionate supporters. This event in Freedom Plaza is billed as one to support President Trump, organized in just the past week as a way of showing force in the wake of his election loss. Now, I can see a few thousand people here. You can see everybody with their flags visiting from places like Tennessee, West Virginia, Maryland, and they're here because they're upset with the projection that Joe Biden will be the next president. I spoke with one of the organizers of this event as I tried to share with her the confirmed information from the Trump administration that the election was in fact secure, and she refused to accept it. And in fact, many of the people here have had social media pages taken down because they're supporting things like stop the count, stop the counting of legally cast ballots. And they're very upset that their pages have been taken down. So around me, you're seeing some of the supporters. I can tell you that I've seen a group known as the Proud Boys, other white nationalist groups and extremist groups that are expected to be here as well and have been promoting their participation online. The event is only a few hours long. There have not been any major clashes yet. But they still plan to march from here in Freedom Plaza to the Supreme Court. The overall message, they do not accept the election results as they've been projected by the major networks, including CBS.
Harold, these are very large crowds from what we're seeing. And you mentioned the Proud Boys, that, of course, being the group that President Trump was asked to denounce in a question about white supremacy, have been promoting this event, that they're involved. I'm hoping you can tell us a little bit more about that. And have we heard anything from President Trump?
President Trump, this morning, before he made a drive to play golf, went past this crowd and was beaming. He was smiling. And you could see a few hundred of them running up to the president's motorcade to cheer and show their support.
Look at this.
Certainly a group
you see this?
that this morning received a bit of emotional validation.
This is what I'm talking about right here.
From the president and for their message.
He went through that area purposely.
There may be counter-protest groups
to amp these people up.
Voice their opinions here today as well. We've seen a few small.
If this ain't no fascism crap I've ever seen some of my life. He left them to do all this while he go play golf. He's up up my little neighborhood playing golf over at Trump National.
Imploring people
he was
to bring weapons. But you can hear how emotional people here get. I can tell you that they're telling us to tell the truth. A woman here is yelling at me saying, we, the media, are the problem. And so you get a sense of just how emotionally volatile this group can be.
Certainly does seem emotional and heated. You mentioned concerns about violence and rules concerning weapons. What are law enforcement officials doing to try and mitigate any potential for those scuffles getting out of hand? And Errol, I'm wondering if you can tell us anything more about what it feels like being in a crowd that is emotionally heated and yelling at you that you are part of the problem.
Sure. Well, you know, for us, it's just part of the job. But I can tell you that we have had to hire 2 security members to be with us as we move through these crowds. You can see I'm wearing a mask, and the pandemic has only worsened across the country. But as you look at the crowd around me, there are very few people wearing masks. There is almost no social distancing here. So it's just one representation of how some people around the country feel and believe what President Trump has been saying. The question I've asked them is, will you accept the results? Will you accept a potential Trump loss if and when it is confirmed? And the organizers of this event say they don't think they have to just yet. So it's important for us to show this to you and to share with the world what's happening in Washington today, because it is representative of how many people feel across the country, despite the election results.
All right. Well, thank you, Errol. I'm going to give you one request. If you can ask people out there if they would change their opinion if President Trump conceded the election, I'll check back in with you later. Thank you.
Man, you trying to get that black dude shot. You better not be, you better leave them, you better leave them people alone. Right? You better try to ask them, man, look, you try to get that brother shot. Like, no, bro, don't look at it. Don't let them people amp you up, right? Do not let them people amp you up to go on out there to get messed up out there with all these, these raging, again, people who's going through what? The 7 stages of grief, right along with their so-called supreme leader that went through that area purposely to amp them up and then left them and went golfing. Left them and went golfing. That kind of mess. At least when Afurakan did the Million Man March, he was there with the people. Trump, look, I'm out. I'm going to go play some golf. Right? These cases surging, coronavirus, Y'all out here ain't got no mask on because I told you not to wear now. It ain't that serious. And so look, super spreader event. 100% right, Sister G there. He need to get out of there. Because these people, again, we talking about almost like a sundown moment, right? In 2020. These people got alcohol in their system. They still a little upset because of the election. And he's standing up in there trying to, man, look. And she talks, so you might want to ask him how they, no, ain't nobody asking them nothing. Look, y'all don't pay me enough for this here. I'm sorry. Right? I'm straight. I'm straight on that one. I ain't finna be asking nobody none of that stuff right there. Right? So all I'm saying is, you know, we might need to kind of reevaluate some of this stuff. Again, I know people could be, again, y'all know my position. I'm neutral on both of that stuff, them part. I don't deal in that. Right? We find a way to get our own money. We find a way to make our own, you know, we establish our own political party. Right? Right? We've already established our own political party. You can't amp me up, gaslight me. You can't do none of that. Again, my mom, my dad gave me the greatest gift ever in a brain, and I use it. I weaponize my brain, right? I weaponize my brain, right? I'm not this, you know, look, I'm just saying. So y'all see it. So all that's popping off right now, right? We get down, of course, we call ourselves the money crats. Come through, Sister G there. Right? Come through, right? We the money crats, right? Right? Or the money pubs. I don't care what you put on the end. Money pubs or money crap. We don't care because we're going to be trying to find a way to get a bag. We're going to be trying to find a way to get us a bag, period. Right? Because it matters that we're not, you know, putting ourselves in such a scenario like this where, again, we're talking about what? Evidence, proof. Bring it. If you have it, don't give me hearsay. You don't let your kids come to you with some hearsay without evidence. Think about that. You hard on your family, your friends, your loved ones when it comes to those things. But when it comes to this, you like, look, you're going to throw away all objective reasoning, all that to go along with this. Seriously? 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 Have we been reduced to that? You know, so of course, I'm just saying we have to make better decisions based on primary evidence, primary information. A lot of these people got college degrees, masters and bachelors and PhDs, and all their logic and reason and objective thinking goes out the window immediately because their guy, man, if this ain't no Jim Jones stuff, of course, again, I'm not, let me just stop, man. Right? Again, I need to speak to the manager. This is one of these moments. I need to speak to the manager. Right? I need to find out. I need to find out who let all these people come into DC that disrupt me having, you know, the chance to get me some vegan mac and cheese down one of my favorite little vegan spots today. Because I was like, man, I ain't finna be driving through all that foolishness today. I had to go settle for some bottom john, right? Some eggplant and chickpeas at a little Afghan spot. I had my mom fixated for some vegan mac and cheese. I was like, man, I ain't gonna be driving down a new vegan deal with all this foolishness today. I ain't even gonna do it. I need to speak to the manager. Right? I'm just saying. So, of course, again, 7 stages of grief. Right? The 7 stages, guys. What stage are we dealing with here? Right? What stage are we dealing with here? Right? I'm just asking, serious. I'm being very, you know, neutral here. And again, no shade. What stage? We looked at the crowd. We see the crowd right now. We saw the crowd. They're going through it the same way like everybody else do it. It's you know, just trying to figure out what's going on. Again, he went off and went golfing. He left them and went golfing like he's been doing the entire time since post-election. While the cases are surging, the coronavirus cases are surging again. He's golfing. right? Y'all know I pick fun at everybody, so of course he can get it. So again, I talk about Biden get it too. Again, I already talked about Dusty Kamala. She dusty. I'm not, convinced. You can't fool me. I'm too old at this point. You can't fool me. She don't know if she want to be Indian American, Black American, immigrant American, Jamaican American. She don't know what she want to be. She want to be what somebody say, is beneficial to her. What? Getting some attention. Simple as that. Let's keep it 100. Let's be real about this. Again, a lot of people did vote because they just wanted to get him out. I made that point earlier. Could it be that, those Republicans, those staunch Republicans just voted because they wanted to get him out of the way? It's not that they're Democrats. They're just like, no, it was fun for the moment, but no, we need to bring some adults back to the scenario. And so we just voting you out. We're not voting the Republican Party out. We're just voting you out. Because guess what? As of now, Republicans have still retained the Senate. Thus far. Right? We know about the runoff election that's going down in Georgia right now that could be very detrimental to the Republicans, Senate seats. We get that. But as of now, America voted to get potentially him out, but keep the Republican mindset still moving across the country. Of course, that obviously balances out what? It balances out a Joe Biden potential presidency, and also, keep some kind of negotiations going on a bipartisan level, of course, at the Senate level, and the House Representative level, in essence, with the president. Balance, right? So, those people out there right now gassed up, no mask on, a super spreader event. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's not play these games. Let's not be pseudoscientists just because it's your teams. That's a super spreader event. Imagine how many cases are going to return positive come next week. Let's keep it 100. Or as they say in New York, let's keep it a buck. How many people are going to turn up positive with that virus come tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? These little 6-7 day gestation period, as they said that it takes. That is a super spreader event. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, money-crat, lesbian-crat, or whatever you are. Because it cares nothing about your title, your brand. That virus don't care what you is in private. It cares about finding a warm place in your mucus system, right? Your endocrine system, right? Until it makes its way to your lungs. That's the only thing that virus cares about. It has a mission. So, of course, it's a super spreader event. You can't convince me different. It's a super spreader event. Y'all seen some of the people out there? They probably put their little mask on when the camera get around, but then some of the cameras get around, man, drop that magic. Y'all know what Trump said. What? Again, all this is in the backdrop right now where, again, whether you, and I know this to be true. I know the numbers are inflated when it comes to some of these, even these COVID deaths, right? We understand that, right? But one thing for certain, we know that this virus is very viral, right? And it does have a fatal outcome in a lot of ways that we, could even imagine. And here it is, the CDC, because the CDC is the regulatory, health and humane system that we have in place. It's supposed to be the world's renowned best organization of, scientists and biologists and all these virologists and all these people coming together to make sure they come up with the most, stringent consensus of information that we're supposed to live by, not just in America, but globally in a lot of ways. It's been politicized since Trump been in office. He's been fighting with them. This was so crazy about it. He's been fighting these institutions. And that could be a good thing because it makes them tighten their stuff up too. Because we know the CDC is sketchy. Let's not play these games. We know about the whole study that happened on the, Dr. William, what's his last? Forgot his name. The one that broke that story on the what? On the autism case. Whether you like it or not, he broke it, right? Whether it's you is what it is or not, he broke it. That's all that matters. Right? That whistleblower. So I'm just saying, 243,000 deaths. Of course, we know that number ain't accurate, but it's up there. Right? 10,690,000 cases of coronavirus, the corona novel virus, basically, right? As of Saturday, 181,000 new cases. 181,000 new cases. It's been going up every day this week. Every day this week it went up. And the deaths at this case, they said, has gone up by 1,364. Of course, this is the CDC, so this ain't no other little brand, off-brand shoot just throwing numbers out there. This ain't no reporter throwing numbers out. This is coming out of the CDC's, their numbers. And so when we look at this here, we say to ourselves, okay, well, what will the next 5 or 6 days look like after this Trump rally, right? Think about that. What would the numbers look like after this Trump rally? Because y'all know that's a super spreader event. Let's be honest. It's going to be a lot of people out there going to catch that COVID, catch that Rona, right? They're going to catch that Rona, drive back to their respective little states, and reinfect people all over again, meaning add that much more, another layer of problems right back to the people that's already dealing with this massive mess right now that don't want to have to be dealing with it anyway. That's why I open up saying maybe it's just another form of what? Fatigue, right? COVID fatigue. But a lot of it is spawned on what? Just a lot of bad guidance, right? Let's be honest. Like, we're investors and traders, right? What's the worst thing that can hurt a company's earnings report? Think about that. What's the one thing that hurts a company's earnings report? They can have good EPS beat. They can beat on their revenue. But if they have what? What's the one thing that can hurt an earnings report for a company? Right? It throws the entire month or that quarter off if they have one missing piece. And that is what? Guidance. If that forward-looking guidance is trash, weak, look, that stock could be under a ton of pressure. It could be under a ton of pressure. So again, I'm just saying these are the things that, I'm always trying to, again, obviously share in a lot of ways, but again, get people to stop and think about these things. Think this stuff through. Think it through. Right? Think it through. Of course, he's taking on the banner now where he's also going after the number one place that has held them down, right, for the past 5 to 6 years. I say 5, 6 years because they got on this bandwagon early before he even began to run, because when they figured out he was going to run, they start covering him, right? They start covering him. Who am I talking to? Now he's fighting against them. He's fighting against the one brand that has held him down. He's actually taking a war to them, a fight to them now. Who am I talking about? Y'all been watching this stuff like I have to a degree. Right? I know y'all like, man, look, we're just trying to get this money. Anybody care about Trump? Right? And rightfully so, y'all worry about getting paid, young blood, getting paid. So guess what his new fight is? He just picking fights left and right. He going out with a bang, bang. Right? Here's his new fight. His new fight. He going after everybody. Right? Everybody finna get it. Right? Sparing no punches. He going after it. He's mad at Fox because Fox did their civil duty, their due diligence, and making sure that they came out after they know the evidence was there. They called a state for Biden, and Trump did not like that. He became livid, actually saying that he's going to start his own TV network after this is over. He's already telling you by saying that alone that what? He's already lost. He's just stretching this out for political reasons. It's obvious. He's going to start up his own network to rival Fox News. The one channel that has held him down like 4 flat tires, he's now going after them. And y'all already know Fox News is just like, man, good luck, right? If you can sift through all that over there, good luck. It has some moments where I can listen in, but up time, I'm like, man, this just, man, y'all just like, bruh, what planet y'all live on? Right? What planet y'all live on over here? So he's going after them now. Right? He's going after, again, let's roll a little bit of that bean foot. Let's roll a little bit of it.
Well, instead of publicly focusing on the pandemic or a stimulus or the presidential transition, today, President Trump is taking on Fox News, as you see right here, retweeting days-old replies, bashing the channel and suggesting that Fox is to blame for his defeat. Joining me now, CNN chief media correspondent Brian Stelter, anchor of reliable sources. Brian, this country is in a crisis right now. Just looking at the coronavirus alone, why is the president doing this? Why is he focused on Fox in the midst of what this country is going through right now?
Yeah, he is tweeting more about Fox News than about COVID. It shows his 5 stages of grief, and it signals that he is still in the anger phase. He is angry at Fox, and so are some of Fox's loyal viewers. They are angry that Fox called Arizona for Biden early on. They are angry that Fox is rightly identifying Biden as the president-elect. And so Trump and some of his fans are lashing out on social media. Pamela, this has always been a marriage of convenience between Rupert Murdoch and Donald Trump. It's always been a marriage of convenience. Certainly, both sides are saying hurtful words right now, but it is still a marriage. Trump might be threatening to see other people, but this is still a marriage. Trump is also promoting Sean Hannity, sharing clips that he likes on Fox. So it's complicated, and divorce could be down the road, but not yet.
Right. He seems to like the opinion hosts like Sean Hannity more than the actual, like the straightforward news journalists. Exactly. Yeah. And you're tracking other right-wing media outlets. What patterns are you seeing among his voters?
Yeah, well, when I refer to a divorce, it's because there are other suitors out there. There are these smaller right-wing channels like Newsmax and One America News that are further to the right than Fox News. And Trump is promoting those channels right now. Newsmax has seen an extraordinary surge in viewership, still a lot lower than CNN or Fox. But this was a channel that had 50,000 viewers before the election, and now sometimes it has 500,000 viewers. There's clearly an audience out there for a channel that is so far right that they deny Biden as the president-elect, that they promote voter fraud innuendo all day long. And so some Fox fans are going off to other channels instead. And it is possible after Inauguration Day that Trump may do the same, whether he wants to launch a streaming service, host a radio show, or go off to a channel like Newsmax. There continues to be a lot of chatter about what his future media platform might be. Could he end up with a show on Fox News? Well, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but there are definitely other options for this outgoing president, and that's something to really keep an eye on. I think big picture, Pamela, here's the concerning trend line here. People are going more and more into their own echo chambers, more and more into their own bubbles, especially Trump voters. There's this new social media app called Parler getting a lot of attention because conservatives are saying they're leaving Twitter and Facebook, going off to Parler because they believe Parler is a safer space for them.
That part right there. Let me stop it right there. That part right there. Did y'all hear that? If some of you guys knew about them or not, they're even erecting their own social media exit from Twitter and Facebook. Not just Fox News on the television side, but also social media. They're going to these so-called quote-unquote echo chambers where they, again, sit around and echo the same talking points, verbatim, just rhetoric and hyperbole all day, every day. Y'all know what that is. That's suggestive what? They call it suggestive marketing. Of course, y'all know I come from international marketing. That's suggestive marketing. The more you hear it, the more you begin to believe it. If you're not a critical thinking, objective thinker, you will begin to believe it. And then when that sets in, what's going to happen? Let's be serious here. This rally that they're hosting today in DC was no more than them getting out them echo chambers, bring it to the street. They vitriol it. They upset. They, again, gassed up. They lit up. Look, let's be serious. We talked about this stuff before. Be safe, guys. Be safe. That's all I'm going to say. Be safe. If they finna be leaving these sites, they ain't got to worry about, being flagged by Facebook and, all these little hate groups that keep getting banned. They got a problem with the fact that they're getting banned. And they spewing all this vitriol and racist innuendo, but they want to be on those sites and just do that, at ease and not be, again, reprimanded. So they mad because Mark Zuckerberg and those were not going to allow that to happen. Jack Dorsey of Twitter. So they went out and built their own. It used to be like other little places. There's a lot of little websites out there that y'all might don't even know about. Well, a lot of that kind of energy is festering. It's been that way for a long time. Again, y'all know what it is. These little supremacist group, they go hang out there because they can not have to worry about dealing with all this other stuff, this oversight, and they just echo the same talking points all day, every day. Until one of them get bold enough to jump out there with an assault rifle or something crazy and harm somebody. I'm not making this up. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. And that's why I say, look, if I was going to drive down, in the city of DC today to get me some vegan mac and cheese, look at that. Right there, some ammo and some everything in the truck. I don't deal with these idiots. Man, look, okay. All right.
What we're seeing is even more of a bunker mentality in right-wing media, and ultimately that's not good for the country.
No, it's not good. It's a threat to democracy that these people are in echo chambers and they're getting fed a diet of lies, essentially. Brian Stelter.
That's what it is. Thanks.
So, Gloria, we're learning the president is feeling, in a word, dejected over his election loss as he takes out his anger in the form of a dozen tweets alone. He was retweeting all these strange tweets about Fox News at a time of a coronavirus pandemic, as if he's got nothing better to do. More than 1,800 Americans died just yesterday from the coronavirus. So what does this say about the president's priorities as our country is facing a life and death struggle right now?
Well, as always, the president sees himself as the victim here. He sees himself as a victim of the election, which he has convinced himself is rigged, which of course is baseless. It is not. And he promised, as Jim Acosta pointed out, that we would stop hearing about COVID after the election. Well, we haven't stopped hearing about COVID from Joe Biden. We have stopped hearing about COVID from Donald Trump. He seems not to acknowledge it. As you point out, he's more concerned with Fox News and how they treated him and their ratings and what his own future might hold in terms of perhaps becoming a TV star, who knows, and a potential presidential contender in 2024, than he is about making sure that people do not continue to die from the virus.
You know, Bakari, one by one, we're beginning to hear from Republican senators and others who say the transition now must move forward, at least when it comes to highly classified intelligence briefings for the president-elect. Are the floodgates about to open as more and more Republicans come to terms with reality?
I'm not sure the floodgates will be open because you're going to have a lot of Republicans who see that the Trumpism is the path to the 2024 Republican nomination for president. You're talking about Matt Gaetz, you're talking about Tom Cotton, you're talking about Nikki Haley. And so there are going to be a lot of people who stay extremely close to Donald Trump and stay extremely close to Trumpism. But what we are seeing is that many United States senators, they're done with him. I mean, this is going to be a nasty breakup. They got the swell and turnout they needed to actually save the Senate. We'll see what happens on January 5th. But many of them got the swell they needed, like Lindsey Graham, like a Tom Tillis, so that they could preserve their own Senate seats. So, yeah, they're going to break up with them and move on. But Donald Trump right now, just as those senators will now be worrying about themselves, Donald Trump is also worrying about himself. And that's what Gloria was talking about, whether or not it's Trump TV or whether or not it's trying to figure out how to pardon himself or whatever it may be. everyone right now in the Republican Party has their own self-interest.
So let me stop it right there. Now, y'all know what's interesting about that last statement there? That last statement when he said, whether or not Trump is trying to figure out, he's actually trying to figure out right now constitutionally, is there some kind of way he can pardon himself? Why is that important, guys? Why is it important that Trump is trying to figure out some kind of way to pardon himself? As if, there's some kind of crime that hasn't been committed yet. I mean, y'all hear this stuff. Couldn't make this stuff up.
Right? Could not make this stuff up. Is there some kind of crime that has not been committed yet? Or that there are crimes that are on the books that are waiting to serve him once he gets from underneath that what? Veil of protection as the president of the United States. Because y'all know no sitting presidents can be what? Jailed in that perspective. Or indicted. They can be impeached, but they cannot be indicted for any kind of crimes. Could it just be he's trying to figure out a way to pardon himself? Because y'all know the lawsuits that are pending for him. If y'all been following this a little bit here and there, just, not that you have to be sitting around on this stuff, but of course, y'all know I'm a sponge mind, right? I'm an investor, right? We do this for a living. We retain large swaths of information very well, right? We retain information very well. What's the number one state right now that's going to go after him day one once he leave that White House? Anybody know that state? If you know that state, drop it in the back chat. There's one state out there right now who's seething to get after him soon as he particularly leaves that White House. Do anybody know that state? Right? And it's pretty self-evident, but of course, we having the conversation a little bit, kicking back, going over some data. And so him trying to figure out a way to pardon himself after the fact, because that's why, again, that could be another tactic why he's yet to concede. He's stalling to make sure he uses every aspect of power of this presidency to get all the information he needs to try to, to do something in a way to protect himself once he's out of there, because everybody's going to be coming after him. That was trying to get at him, right, while he was still sitting in the seat in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Right? New York City. Our buddy up there, Governor Cuomo, already told Trump he can't even come back to New York because the streets are going to get after him. He said that on live TV, like some mob ball stuff, like some rigatoni pasta, old school continental, continental tea driving boss hitman type of stuff. To a sitting president, you can't even come back to New York because the people here hate you. They're going to deal with you. His words. Cuomo said that was his word. The people here are going to deal with you. I couldn't make this stuff up. Right? Because New York obviously has the first dibs at him on them what? On them taxes. New York has the first dibs at him on those taxes. They cannot wait. They got the paper sitting on ice right now. That's exactly why he moved to Florida. My home state. Messed up the entire Florida ecosystem even more. Now, again, I ain't going on Trump like that because y'all know I said on here plenty of times. There's certain things about Trump I actually like. But there's some dusty stuff about him that's just irrefutable. I don't care. Unrefutable. I don't care who you are, where you are. If you got a brain and you gas and you sitting there going along with a lot of that goofiness that he be doing, then that says a lot about you. Because look here, a clock is right twice a day. A clock is right twice a day. Some stuff he do is just outright goofy and asinine and insidious and incendiary, all that and above. Let's just keep it 100. There is a thing called shades of gray. right? I'm just saying, right? So they're going to have to deal with him. He's going to have to deal with them. They're waiting. They are waiting for him in New York. They literally are waiting for him in New York. So he's trying, again, that last part, that soundbite, that's why I had to stop that and bring that back, because I'm seriously, look, hold up.
Gloria was talking about, whether or not it's Trump TV or whether or not it's trying to figure out how to pardon himself or whatever it may be. Everyone right now in the Republican Party has their own self-interest at hand, and that is the problem, because no one has their eye on the ball. That ball being coronavirus outside of Joe Biden, and Joe Biden cannot even get access to the individuals in the White House who have the expertise, like a Dr. Fauci, like a Dr. Briggs, so he can go out and do the work necessary.
He said Dr. Briggs. Her name is Dr. Briggs. Golly. Dr. Briggs. I ain't mad at him.
Day by day.
Yeah, let's not forget the lead, the Joe Biden lead over President Trump in the national popular vote is growing and growing. They're still counting votes. It's now about more than 5,200,000 votes. Biden's lead, his advantage over Trump nationally right now. The president-elect has appeared totally unfazed this week in his public comments by the president's adamant refusal to concede. Is that because the Biden team knew Republicans would soon potentially start to come around, as they apparently are now?
Well, Joe Biden and his team have felt that Republicans will eventually come around to accepting the results of this election. He wanted his advisors to give Republicans and the president some time to come to terms with the way that these things have panned out. And you've started to see some of that, as you've heard from some Republican senators saying that he should have access to classified briefings as he prepares to potentially enter the White House, in their belief. But you also, this is something that Biden has talked about time and time again on the campaign trail, that once Republicans are out from under the mantle of President Trump, that they may return to acting and legislating in bipartisan ways, and that is something that he has pointed to time and time again. It's certainly taking.
I'm just saying. So y'all get it again. I can't. Yeah, it sounds like she's a little bit whining a little bit. I want to hear all that whiny stuff. But again, this is the part where, like we were saying, guys, this look, so just see a lot of this stuff is happening behind the scenes, of course, and people are like, well, no, there's something there, whatever, right? Of course, prove it, right? Go out there and do the challenge and prove it. You can only kind of complain, bicker, and complain and whine about it for so long, right? And at some point, you got to do what we say, right, on the block, right, or in the hood, right? Put up or shut up, right? At some point, you got to put up or shut up. So all this talking about smoking evidence, smoking gun, right? Evidence. And you're submitting these, lawsuits, and all of them getting thrown out, dismissed, no evidence, hearsay. You still out there, again, like they say, in these echo chambers, regurgitating the same talking points over and over, gaslighting these people, same way they did in these little, cult followings, Jim Jones, the David Koresh, the Timothy McVeighs. Y'all know the history in this country. Y'all know exactly how this stuff works. So here it is, you're trying to cause this last massive, sundown rally to unite these people, get them all amped up to go out there and do something silly. And yet there's not one scintilla, again, of intrinsic, I should say that. There's not one scintilla of intrinsic evidence out there. Not one. Because if it was, it would have stuck by now. So this is like, okay, we're just going to keep filing lawsuits until maybe we get lucky. That's the mindset, literally. We're going to keep filing lawsuits until we get lucky. So the evidence that you're gathering with all these smart people haven't vetted it? You mean tell me they haven't vetted the information enough to let you know if it was clown crap or not? Man, this is some clown stuff, bro. They should be like, no, this one here ain't gonna, bro. This is clown stuff here. Send it anyway. Send it anyway. I mean, what do we got to lose? Send it anyway. What? What? Send it anyway. Bro, this ain't this. You just wasted money. Well, guess what? Who's paying for these lawsuits right now? I repeat, who's paying for these lawsuits right now? His followers. Y'all know that they're donating to him right now for these so-called lawsuits and all this legality stuff. He's using some of that money to pay for his what? Future campaign. It has already came out that that's what's happening. I'm not making this up. I am not making this up. Right? So, of course, you know, man, this stuff is like, man, you could not make this stuff up. Could not make this stuff up. Right? You already know he just, man, look, what them ballots at? It might be time for one. What them ballots at? What them ballots at? I'm just saying, where them ballots at? I happen to believe it's not even about the ballots any longer. Truly, it's not even about the ballots any longer. Because the court system is pretty much just throwing them out. Okay, use the money that you finna get. You finna pull another Steve O'Bannon. Take in donation to build a wall just to turn around and do what? Go out there and buy boats with it until the FBI catch you and indict you for fraud. His right-hand man is indicted right now for fraud, for donation fraud. A playbook out of Trump that took money for what? Veterans back in the days, or it was a council, some kind of council, and he did something for veterans too. Took the money and then do what he was supposed to do with it. This is on the record, not my words. A playbook out, again, birds of a feather flock together. Birds of a feather flock together. Of course, as you can see, my picture here is what? 1,000 words. It's speaking 1,000 words right now. I can only imagine what's on the wall over there on the left-hand side there. Right? This picture speaks volumes. Because it's very emblematic of what we're seeing happening right now, even as we look at what's happening in DC. Again, not that some people do not have really all the means to understand that, okay, yeah, there might just be, some of the people might just be really, feel like it's something there. They have the right under the legality of the election process to challenge the things that will be, obviously, conducive to overturn the vote if there is something there. But as of now, again, show me the evidence. Because if not, you're just delaying the inevitable just to amp people up to get mad to do something that's going to affect somebody else. This backlash or collateral damage. Basically what this White House looking like right now, because y'all know one thing for sure, it is fuming. It is fuming with the coronavirus in the White House right now. From all the people that's around there, I'm not wearing no mask, catching it, spreading it, breathing it, sneezing it, coughing it, hawking it, spitting it. I would look, and I don't even like Joe Biden. If I was Joe Biden, I would come through the entire White House. I would fumigate it with a Clorox bath. I would just look, get me. I don't care what. I don't care if the bleach, kill the color in the old paintings up in there. Fumigate this entire building. Because these people up in here living like they some, man, look. Bruh. Peace, power, profit, over Chris. Money Crash in the building. Shout out to Over Chris in the house. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't think twice. Right? Again, look, this picture is very emblematic of what we know that's possibly happening in the overall country right now. In some ways, dealing with the coronavirus peaking again, dealing with still the economic scenario getting worse. Of course, we ain't even got to that point to speak about the Feds. The Feds came out literally. They had a meeting the other day, right? And under the it was I think it was like an ECB meeting to a degree, but it was a panel of other central bankers. Jerome Powell comes out and pretty much says, "Look, the way things going now, and the way that Congress has failed, pretty much to act on this, stimulus and all these things to kind of really backstop these companies and these small businesses from going under, that they may not possibly can save the economy any longer." Yet in March, May, April, June, they had unlimited firepower. Now all of a sudden the Fed is sounding real weak right now. The Fed is sounding real weak right now. Y'all saw the articles. If y'all are investors and traders, y'all know this stuff. We follow it. Out of Jerome Powell's own mouth, he's saying that the economy could be in major trouble. And then after saying that, guess what he did? After saying that, guess what he did? Right? Couldn't make this stuff up. Turned around, right? Turned around, right? And injected a massive bag into the markets. Over 500 billion that they had slated to go in the market. That's why the market went up the way it did Friday. It killed all the volatility and just grinded higher the entire day. Seriously, couldn't make this stuff up. Again, we trade this stuff. We invest in this stuff. We see this stuff. We know what's going on. We know when the market is being tampered with. At this point, we just too studied enough at least to know at least that much of it. Right? Clear as day. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. Couldn't make this stuff up. Right? This is the entire day, Friday. The entire day, Friday. Gaps up. We talked about this in a couple of my little training scenario. That this was an all or nothing move, that they had to get this market above this line here. They did that. Gapped the market above the 200-day moving average here on the 5-minute course. And the market went up like this the entire day. This is textbook. This is textbook stimuli. Operations, clear as day. Ramp, ramp, ramp. It's like playing leapfrog. Consolidate within this ramp. Come down, tap the 20-day moving average. Ramp, ramp. They call it ramp and camp. For somebody, more, intermediate-minded investors and traders out there, this is what they call the textbook ramp and camp. Market goes up, it ramps, it camps out, it doesn't do anything egregious, no pullback, no crazy volatility. It eats into premium. If you're trading the options market, it kills a lot of theta. It quiets, right, a lot of the volatility. And it ramps again. It just keeps ripping the face off of people who are trying to contrarian trade the market, and just keeps going higher throughout the entire day. And then the end of the day, even more massive. Look at this massive close into the market. That's what you call textbook stimuli. operations right there. Look at the day preceded it. Look at the day preceded that, right? This is the day preceded it. Look at this day. Do this day look like, and this day look like this day? Does this day look like this day? Even when it fell from up here, does this day, even from the bottom of it, you can see right there, does this day look like this day? Right? Does this day here somewhat look like this day? Maybe a little bit. This one here. Well, that means this day here was what? Same thing was happening. To a degree, they were trying to what? Kill the volatility. If you don't believe me, look at the volume. There's no volume down there. And the market, what? It pulled back and then inclined for the rest of the day on no volume. Again, y'all gonna get this work today. Y'all gonna learn how to look at this stuff. Today, look at this. Spotty, red, all that red in there. I mean, Friday, look at this one. No volume at all. Less than this day over here. More green, and the market just went up the entire day. To spot this, to see this, to know what's going on, to pay attention to the repo operations when they got these mandates out there, how to trade these markets in this moment, so you don't get caught trying to do the opposite of what the market is already talking about, in a lot of ways without telling you outright. It's showing them what they're trying to do. Look at this volume here into the close Thursday. The volume into the close Thursday was another indication that they're going to gap it up. We literally talked about this in one of my training sessions. True story. They did just that. I said they got to get it above this line. They did it. And they gapped it up. The markets are saying, look, we know this dude ain't going out without a fight at this point. What's the best case we got to keep the market optimistically running upward to try to test this all-time high again without necessarily just dumping? Because we know we overbought. We know we overbought on a short-term perspective. We know we're overbought on a short-term perspective, right? Let's go there on a day. Let's look at the 1 hour first, right? Let's look at the 1 hour first, right? The 1 hour straight up off that what? Inverted head and shoulders here. Straight up, right? Straight up on this from this inverted head and shoulders, right? Look how this look right here on the close. All that green volume. Let's go to the 4 hour chart, right? Clear as day. Clear as day. Gap up, pull back, consolidate, establish a new launching pad. What? Lift off. Let's go to the daily. Clear as day. Clear as day. Inverted head and shoulders, gap it up on a whole lot of hype. Hopium, pull back, consolidate, bring in some new people, trap some old bears, right? Start this what? Uptrend. Right? Same way. The weekly, clear as day. It's red on the weekly, but don't be fooled. That week is over, going to a new one. They still gapped it above some key levels here. They gapped it up above these key levels here. So markers are like, yeah, about that. Right? About that. Yeah, we still gonna do what we want to do regardless. Right? The markers are already like, we're gonna do what we want to do regardless. Right? That's just, that's just the way it is. Right? In my Tupac, some things will never change. Right? That's just the way it is. So you see exactly what's going on here. Came off the lows from breaking that, testing the 200-day, got not close, but close enough to make them get scared, slam the brakes, and come out this new Fed money all of a sudden. Look at the thick green volume down here. Literally, the last 7 to 8 days, look at all that green thick volume down there. So, of course, the put volume was just crazy high all last week. It was so much put volume for the SPY, and the SPY shrugged all of it off and just went higher and chewed up all those put options. It chewed all of them up and spit them out. When Wall Street greed is on, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Cases surging, people dying, people losing jobs, businesses closing down. Wall Street said, let's make some money. We love that kind of environment. Let's get paid. Getting paid, young blood, getting paid. That's how the game works. Right? And they've been gapping it up every Monday, coming out of what? A Friday run up. We looked at the historical chart and been looking at this stuff. Yet IWM Russell, right? Russell just went and tore out and made a new high. After it was a laggard for a major part, right? Especially when the tech sector got bombarded, it was lagging, and then all of a sudden, it woke up and made this move, and made an all-time high up here around about 177. Couldn't make this stuff up. Got way outside the limit of aggression band. That's why I pulled back. Of course, clear as day. Outside the penalty band, outside the gun line. Tell them about the gun line, boss. Went outside that gun line. Got back inside the gun line. Tapped the top. Pull back. Now you back up here again. Just chilling. Bruh man, fifth flow. About to make a couple sandwiches and watch the Jack Benny show with moms. Just chilling. Made an all-time high. And that's with small businesses around the country going under for good. Meaning they can't come back because they ain't got no stimulus, they ain't got no help. They tried to open up, go back down to place of surgeons again. These people, and here it is a small cap, which is indicative of small businesses around the entire country. It's still making all-time new highs. Do you think Wall Street cares? Seriously? Do you think these people care? This is the game, right? This is the game, right? So again, it says a lot. It says a lot, right? It really does. And we're sitting there trying to, again, get what we can out of this, to the best of our ability, right? The best form of information or data, whatever we can use to, actualize or some whatever, whatever. And here it is. Again, these people are showing you exactly, how they feel about your situation. Again, I keep saying that, America is the most the Hippocratic scenario that you got. Look, these people here. Seriously. So the numbers are telling us a whole new different picture. It's being presented as a whole new different picture. They have all-time highs on their mind in the midst of a surging coronavirus environment with lockdowns imminent. I repeat, with lockdowns imminent. Chicago already on lockdown to a degree, curfew or laden. New York thinking about closing the schools down again next week, right? Some of them on curfew already as well. New Jersey, Ohio, even places out there in the middle of nowhere going under some kind of form of a lockdown. Oregon, Utah, Wisconsin. Seriously? A vaccine can't come fast enough. And guess what? Just because they announced that they got one don't mean it's going to be ready to shoot you up with it the next day, because it's still going to take, they say, at least a minimum 6 to 7 months before average people will be able to get it. So in the meantime, that doesn't stop the virus from still spreading. So if they're going to give it to essential workers and people like that only first, okay, yeah, they're going to get it, but guess what? How's your situation? Seriously? And they're talking about going on another lockdown and stuff. So the markets are always going to do what the market's going to do. They're going to shrug off Armageddon. They're going to shrug off asteroids coming to hit the planet. Right? They're going to shrug off, end of that. And they're going to man, look, can we catch a bid today? Can we catch a bid today? Right? Where my buyers at? Where my buyers at? Where my buyers at? Market's like, can I catch a bid? Right? Again, that's just, that's how this stuff works. That's why you invest and trade without emotions, right? You leave that stuff at the door, right? You leave it at the door, right? We already know what's been going on with the QQQs, right? The tech set that's old, XLK, the Qs, right? We know what's going on here. The NASDAQ, pretty much consolidation moment. Don't be fooled because it got slaughtered, 1 or 2 of the days, out of last week, and it seemed like, oh man, this thing's crashing. It crashed from here because it was just almost a blow off top to a degree. Came back, pulled back to around about 280, right? Up in from 299, basically near 300, cracking that, pulls back, consolidates. Of course, it bounces. In this case, I say consolidate because there's an upward trend here, and you just made inch higher, inch higher, inch higher, inch higher each day to establish a new launching pad area, right at right at that mean line, setting up for another particular massive run. Apple came out, unveiled their new Mac Air, right? Their new Mac products, whatever the case, made a separate event for that, as if they couldn't do it on the Apple Day. Marketing, anything to keep the stock relevant and juiced up. All this stuff works in tandem. All I see right here is consolidation. Matter of fact, you throw some lines on there, clear as day, that thing like it's trying to like it's trying to get right, right? Like you're trying to get right for another another move somewhere possible, right? Right? Just throwing some old funny money lines on here real quick. Like you're trying to get to a point where it's gonna tighten down a little bit and make a move somewhere at some point. Ping it, ping it, ping it, ping it, ping it, pop. Or it's gonna ping it, ping it, ping it, ping it, and drop. Right? One with the other. Again, tech set to start to consolidate for another move. But it's still in a bullish flag. No matter how you look at that, that's still a bullish flag. Look at this pattern here. Seriously. Peak to trough. Peak to trough. Peak to trough. Clear as day. Peak to trough. Trough back to peak. Right? It actually exceeded this peak on this move here from up here to up here. Pulling back actually halfway. Now consolidating, trying to go back up. Tighten down. It's starting to tighten down. Markets don't care. Markets do not care. We've been tearing this S&P up. We've been calling this S&P 500 literally, religiously over the months. We just been calling it left and right. And I'm not just saying it because it's, whatever. We got the video scenarios to prove it. So many training sessions people tell you. We've been calling it. Especially these gap ups coming out of the weekend. And we call some of the ones that were suspect and phase. Based on the momentum, based on all the different surrounding circumstances, that obviously with the markets feeding off all that, that news, right? The uncertainty or the certainty of aspects of the market, obviously, and by the rumors of the new vaccine news came out, the market skyrocketed. Now here it is next week. We've got some important data coming out next week. What's up the bat next week? Anybody know what's going down next week? That may be a big market opportunity. Not gonna say it's gonna, it has to be big in terms of the market, but the market waiting on it, right? What's happening next week, guys? Anybody know in the back chat? Throw that in the back chat. What's happening next week? What's going down next week? Right? Markets are literally trying to front load it. That's why you say, man, the market's supposed to dump last week. The put call ratio last week was legendary. It was so many puts against the SPY calls, and the market did what? It grind higher all week long. Right? It's important to realize when you see that low volume melt up perspective going on, that means these people are not done yet. The greed is just getting started. The greed is just getting started. Think about that for a moment. Because, of course, in these moments when we're trying to, again, assess whether this should be a risk on or risk off environment, we're trying to place that based upon what the charts are saying, what the investor sentiment seems to be like for, substantial price action. Price action Friday would just melt up, right? It even affected some of the call buyers. Even though it went up, it affected some of them too because it was just a slow, methodical grind up. It killed a lot of the theta. They still made a little money, but they didn't make the kind of money they probably, would have loved to have made, of course, right? But nonetheless, the market is trying to just solidify itself just enough to make another major move. It's right back to a point where a point of resistance up around this area here. Let that marinate for a moment, right? We're not too far off from the very, very key points up here. Of course, we got the all-time high sitting up here, right? 364 and change. Look at this. Y'all see the pattern already seen it starting to form a little bit, right? It's already starting to form a little bit, right? They're trying to, in so many ways, let you know, hey, we getting ready to do a little something strange for a little piece of change, right? Clear as day. Look right here. What do you see right here? Pattern there looks clear as day there. They're trying to round this. We round in the corner again. Trump, we round in the corner. Round at bottom. J-hook pattern. Fry pan bottom. Whatever you want to call it. Right? Curling up again. Basically, that's what they're doing. It's curling back up again. With all the talks of going into lockdown, this, that, and the third. Election still all over the messy. Again, this is the part of the game. Stocks all over the place, running like it ain't tomorrow. It's one second. Give me the hot second, guys. Let me handle a quick little business here. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. All right. Thank you for your patience real quick. I had to handle something real quick. So, again, we see what the market is trying to forecast in so many ways without us having to really stop and wreck our brains, right? We saw, again, the entire all last week beat the brakes off all the contrarian traders. To a degree, it demolished a lot of the put sentiment that we were going to crash, to buy the rumor, sell the news types, that because the vaccine news was obviously out at this point. Everybody been waiting for this moment. The market did the complete opposite. Not only did it gap up and make an all-time high, right? And when it pulled back, of course, it pulled back to a place where, of course, it didn't give back all of its gains. That's the part of the game where people they thought that the market was going to crash more afterward because they got caught in the idea that the level of this candle was so big, right, from peak to trough, that this was imminent, that the market had to kind of what? Keep falling afterwards, right? Keep in mind, it didn't fall back to the place where it came from. It gapped up from over here. It gapped up from 351, right? It gapped up from 351. Of course, in the body of this candle, let's say 349, 350, right? It gapped up from 350. Went up and hit 364. We talking about over 5-7%, some more than that. Some market was just killing. Pulls back, right? Shakes out all the weak hands. Trapped some more people that bought puts that didn't cash out when they should have cashed out that day on the 9th. Right? Income what? Establishing that base. See this line here, clear as day. Retracement, dead cat bounce, or more of a double bottom. Well, it proved to be a double bottom, not a dead cat bounce. Because dead cat bounce, it would what? It would have broken, went lower after it bounced that second time. This bounced and what? Gapped up higher on good, massive, clean, controlled, strategic volume based on who? The Federal Reserve. Forget Joe puts, right? Forget Joe puts. Forget Joe puts. Forget Joe short. Couldn't make this stuff up. Rounded bottom, clear as day. They're eyeing what? All-time high again. Of course, you at the old high is sitting off around about what? 50 some odd cents from where it closed at. Then the market even went up after hours a little bit. Okay, so let's go there. Let's go to the shorter time frame. Let's go to our chart. After hours, look what the market did. Look what the market did. It came shy of the what? The old all-time high, not the most recent one, but the one that preceded it. It came in striking distance of that, right? It came in striking distance of it, right? That's saying, hey, okay, yeah, right? We in here, right? We're not talking about the recent all-time high, but let's back it up right here. Striking distance, 358.70. We'll just say that 358.70. Some 35 odd cents, right? It went up more after hours is my point. It didn't pull back and say, okay, yeah, we just trying to shake bears out and spook them, and then, then we'll plummet after hours, and that way we know we got them. Because y'all know market's good for that. It went up actually after hours too. Oh, yes, it did, right? It clear as day. So what is that saying? The feds are back, the feds are nervous. They're scared. The Fed is nervous. His words, not mine. Their words, not mine. So now they're back to what? Injecting money into the market. Before they kind of pull back a little bit and let the market handle its own. Now they're right back doing what they do. Backstopping the money, feeding corporate interests, feeding the rich people, feeding equity holders, screwing over what? Main Street America, letting Congress run wild, letting the president run wild, the virus running wild, economic scenario deteriorating, people trying to potentially get ready to go back in lockdown. Look, markets love climbing the wall of worry. That's why they call it climbing the wall of worry. That's when most people become what? Wealthy. While other people go more into what? Despair and possibly poverty. It's a wealth transfer. It's a wealth heist. It's our duty to recognize this so we can get paid too. Right? Getting paid, clear as day. Look at the double bottom here. Clear as day. Not dead cat bounce, double bottom. It pulled back from the meteoric rise off the vaccine news. It went up, bounced, hit some resistance here, clear as day, pulls back, catches the bottom here. There's your demand level again. And then what? Retraces and starting to what? It overtook the old what? Old high off the bounce. That let you know it was for real. Right? It cleared it. Cleared it Friday pretty much, the last little couple of hours of the day, matter of fact. And then, went up and kind of what? Tightened down and went higher here. Now, Monday is going, matter of fact, tomorrow is going to be interesting, the futures market. I'm just looking, trying to check, make sure I don't miss any kind of particular and pertinent news reel that may throw off what I feel like they're trying to obviously attempt here. It's clear as day what they're trying to attempt here. It's clear. Will they pull it off? Well, it's to be determined. It's still speculative to a degree. It's still speculative to a degree. But clear as day, they're trying to show you what they're actually trying to do. They are who they say they are, basically. So you have to, again, prepare accordingly. Right? There's money out there being made one way or the other. And y'all know, again, we have another important piece of news that's coming out next week, possibly two. One of them is indirectly, but I'll speak on it. Two pieces of news that may come out next week that may still try to, also add more fuel to this fire. What are those news reels that are pending next week? Anybody know in the back chat? Right? Do anybody know in the back chat the two particular possible pending news pieces that may come out next week that may add fuel to this fire in terms of this market? Do anybody know? Right? Of course, some people call them nerd stats. I just say this is what we do for a living. We follow the markets. We follow the news, right? We follow the information. We follow the breadcrumbs, right? Because that's the reason why the market kept going up and everybody kept trying to short it and got ran over last week. The broader market, that is, in the case in terms of S&P, even though NASDAQ got beat up a couple times to Q. But next week, right, we have two somewhat potential events that may add fuel to the fire. Anybody know in the back chat? Trying to give y'all a couple seconds, right? Couple seconds. Right? Shout out to Alice Trebek, right? You done passed on. If I had the Alice Trebek little theme song to the Jeopardy right now, I'd be playing that. Right? That little countdown. Right? Anybody know? Right? Giving y'all a couple seconds here while get ready to go down in this hole right here. Right? Before I get ready to deep dive a little bit. Give y'all a couple seconds here. Because again, Wall Street already starting to front load. Whether they pull it off or not, I don't know. Right? Before you get ready to go down this rabbit hole, right? Before you get ready to go down this rabbit hole, right? No, but those things are pretty deep, already known, right? Jobs decline, GDP, we kind of know a little bit there, right? Somebody said Brexit, all right? Got a couple little scenarios there, right? Some of them could carry weight, but as far as our market goes, right? Because y'all know how American markets are, right? You have, I just go in and type it. Right, I'm gonna type it in the back chat. Right, because those are following along, of course, hey, that's what we here for, right? Because it's important to stay ahead of the game. This is chess, not checkers. Keep in mind, this is chess, not checkers. It's the reason why markets do the complete opposite of what you think it's going to do. And if you're not disciplined, you will try to fight it, and it'll mess you up. It was clear after the parabolic meteor rise that we was gonna ride, right? You got a brother over there. It says what retail sales, right? Those are some of the ubiquitous things that typically comes out, week to week to a degree, right? Even though that number there's still gonna be a good one to see, right? And housing market. So right here, y'all gonna be like, oh man, right? They've been talking about it all week too, for the past 2-3 weeks to be exact. But definitely last week they've been talking about it. I done typed it in the back chat. So if you're listening along right now, you might need to peek in on your little YouTube real quick and see exactly what I done typed in the back chat, right? That's for members only. Members only moment. Right? Because it already went down before, right? With the previous scenario. And we saw what happened with the markets when it happened. So that information is coming out next week. If not this weekend, they may try to slip it in this weekend, obviously, preferably on a Sunday, but if not, next week sometime. So we want to act like the market ain't trying to front load that. We want to act like that ain't, potential scenario there. Let's go to the what? Let's roll some of that beautiful bean footage, right? Let's roll some of that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful bean footage and see exactly, right, what we're talking about here. Let's do the stacked, right? Let's just see. Let's go to next week and let's just see. Y'all should be able to see my screen right now, right? Matter of fact, let me see. Right? No, it's not showing. Hold up. Let's go to my screen here. All right, let's take it to that beautiful, that beautiful, beautiful bean footage, right? You might be on to something there, brother African Emporium. Well, we are expected to know these things, are we not? We are expected to know these things. We're trying to be the best we can be in a scenario like this here. So of course we want to follow the tea leaves. Right? It's expected that we know these things because this is how we get paid. All the time when they were sitting there brandishing and talking about the other scenario, this one right here did what? It had initial kind of what? Wake up call, and then after that, it just marched higher for the rest of the week. It just marched up, marched up, marched up. March, brother, step, brother. March, brother, step. Clear as day. Y'all see what's going on here. Clear as day. Now, let's scroll down a little bit. Let's put some magnifying glasses on this thing. Let's see how it's starting to get a little thick in around these areas here. It's starting to thicken up a little bit. Let's go down to the bottom. It's what? Thinned out. Thinned out in these areas. Thinned out. Almost non-existent down here. Even if you start from where it's at, up around this area here, thinned out. Thinned out. Thinned out. Y'all see this again? Thinned out. Thin, 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 thin. Right? Some people still trying to play this here potentially. Right? Of course, you always gonna have a contrarian scenario. They're risking $2. I understand. I get it. Here they're risking $1 here. I get it. I see what's going on here. I understand. Just in case. Everybody got, but look at all this thickness. Thickness. Right? Thickness. Y'all see it clear as day. Not making thickness down there. Right? That's that ain't by mistake. Right? That ain't by mistake. It's been sitting there trying to get y'all attention all last week too, because they kept talking about it. In tandem to the other scenario, they kept talking about it. Like, hey, they're like, get ready, because they next. They were sitting there all on TV. Trump even spoke about it when he actually came out of his bunker, right, out of his gopher hole. He even spoke about it. The task force, other task force spoke about it. Right? They kept trying to get your attention, just like this right here. They're trying to get y'all attention. Right? Y'all like, man, look, I get it, African Poor, I get it. I get it, African Poor, I get it now, I get it. Right? They just trying to throw that money on y'all. They were trying to literally throw that money on y'all. And y'all like, man, I ain't trying to. And the whole time the stock was just going up. The stock was just going up. Y'all sitting there trying to what? No, but see, I'm gonna go over there and fight the SPY. I'm gonna go try to fight the SPY and buy me some puts in the SPY. And I'm like, what? Y'all missing out on this? What? I'm just saying, come on. This is why we study. This is why we study. And this is why seriously. Right? This is why we have to win. We play chess, not checkers. Now, if I show you the chart, you're gonna probably be like, God, you can probably want to cuss. And very rightfully so, right? Because all the signs were there. Guess what I kept doing? and to my position, my long-term position on this stock. True story. True story. Let's run over to some of that beautiful bean footage. Let's go right on over there and look at that chart. To the charts we go. What? Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Everything from this point on, it still had what? Higher lows off the previous week. Even when it did this, hung out around here, pulled back slightly, went up, did this, came back to the bottom of the integration band, it still presented what? Higher lows from the previous week. It still was above trend. It was still in trend. It just came down and gave a chance to kind of what? Set up and get new buyers in. Institutions are greedy. They slick with it, bro. They brought it down to get the load the boat. If you don't believe me, look at the volume here. Look at the volume on the 3rd. Look at the volume on the 4th. Look at the volume on the 5th. Look at the volume on the 6th. Right? Look at this setup on the what? On the 9th. Look at this kind of red in there. Got y'all what's out your feelings. You show you, and then look at the volume afterwards. Look at this volume. 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 Look at them bars. Bars. Literally. Bars. Right? Bars. Over here, volume non-existent. Over here, volume coming in like a firecracker. Read the tea leaves, guys. This is why we study. This was an easy call buy. The thing was at $74 on the 10th. 74. It's sitting at 90 right now. 90. I was adding all up in this area right here. Added at least twice. I added twice to my long-term position during this time span on the 10th. All I need to see that was holding that linear regression band, and it did on the 1 hour, and I was looking on the daily too, and I was like, oh, yep, we got the vent coming out. Yep, been waiting on this dip. And sitting at 90. Y'all see that up there? Y'all see it? Y'all see it? Right? I look, man, look. Right? We too good, right? Not to be trying to, catch every scenario that we potentially can. Again, this thing, look at this here. Look at that right there. That's the weekly. The weekly, and look at the MACD. The MACD is starting to curl up. The selling pressure has somewhat subsided. It's already gapping up. Even when it was selling off, all it did was build this fry pan bottom, this U-shaped fry pan bottom. Look at the MACD, guys. It is like it's finally done selling. We getting ready to cross back above the blue. Even though the RSI still like it's up there a little bit on the weekly, but y'all know how this stuff works. Markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. When the news drops, no matter what, they just ready to to pop. All-time high is sitting at 95.21. We're sitting at $90. It presented you a buy opportunity down here at 56, right? On back in September, right? It presented you some opportunities. Obviously, we just witnessed around about $74 level, and here we go. And the MACD is starting to curl back up. Look at the daily. You see it. MACD have already crossed above it. In come the buys. You see it there. There's the momentum. Yeah, we know the RSI up there a little bit, but we just saw. We're gonna talk about that one in a second anyway. I'll just hold that one for a moment. Look at this thing curling back up. Right. Well, let's go to the 4 hour. Look where the MACD's at here. Tighten it down like it's getting ready to try to make another lunch. If it can sustain, because it can easily break. It could easily break. We know our level of support to look at, right? Clear as day, around 84, right? After that, we can come down, maybe test this 81, maybe after that, maybe back down to 76, then also down 74, where it came from. Either way, people that got in where I was buying in that around that area down there, still insulated in the trade. Of course, that's added to a long position, but y'all know how this stuff works. Let's go to the hourly chart. Look at the MACD. It's converging. It's converging on the hourly. Y'all see that it's converging. And it's still showing sell pressure. And the stock been going up. Could make this stuff up. And the RSI is underneath 70 on the hourly chart. And you're sitting at $90, right? If you throw the extended chart up there, of course. Let me see if I have. Yeah, I haven't clicked on that. So I'm just a messenger. I am just a messenger, right? I am just the messenger. I come on here to share what I have, what I know. It's up to you guys to take it the rest of the way. That's what these think tanks are for. That's why these sessions are important. Of course, we talk about it a little bit of everything. It's called the weekend review, right? Of course, in this case, but y'all get my point. We're trying to make sure we put, I do it for a reason. I talk about all that stuff for a reason because I want y'all to see everything that's out there so you don't be sidelined. That's why I said you got to learn how to what? Walk and chew gum and think and build a Lamborghini from wood sticks all in once, right? All in one moment. Because that's what it takes to be an effective trader. You have to become good at multitasking. You can't be easily moved. You can't be easily distracted, right? You can't be, persuaded from not understanding your training has put you to a place to learn how to what? Read the tea leaves thoroughly. That's just how this game works. If you want to be, again, profitable in this, you want to take it to the next level. Of course, I'm still learning like everybody else too. This is what it's going to require. This is what's going to require. Not making this stuff up, guys. Again, clear as day. This thing was sitting down there. It was just sitting down there. While the other one that got the news was banging to the upside. And then this one said, okay, we up next. We up next, coach. Right? Then the other one said, we up next, coach. It was clear as day. They kept talking about it all last week. The week prior to that, too, they were talking about it. Some of us act like we couldn't see it. It's like we, somewhere stuck with the N95 mask on, looking like this right here. Like we just out there stuck. Like we just stuck. Like we didn't put all this studying in and training in just to be stuck. Like, no. In my Kamala Harris voice, no, I'm not gonna do nothing just for for your stock and not the other stocks. No. Y'all gonna get this work today. Y'all gonna get this work. Because that's what we show up for. We show up to work. If we want this, we have to show up to work. We don't want to be stuck looking like dude right here, right? No. Come on, man. Let's look. I mean, the options were like a given. The options were a given. That's why I say keep that flow chart near you at all times. Protect yourself at all times, right? Like a boxer, right? Protect yourself at all times. Let's go over there and look at it again, just real quick here, right? This is the money bag portion, right? This is why we the money crash, right? And the money crash, yeah, right? Look at here. Look at all this front loading. Look at all these people front loading here. This was last week's expiration. Man, look right even at the $80 level. Look at this. 1,500 open edge, 64.35, 24388, 174, 13883. These are the options. Just look at it. 90, 7,000, 95, almost 10,000, $100, 18, 30. Y'all see this stuff. Look at the open interest. Rolling into next week. Rolling into next week. The signals were there. Them signals were, they were just like a beacon, like a like a doggone lighthouse, right? Out there somewhere in New England Harbor somewhere on a foggy night. The beacon was just gleaming. Again, come on, guys, let's use it. Come on, family, let's use it. Y'all say y'all want to be a trader, huh? You want to be a trader, huh? Well, that's juvenile 400 degrees. Where my Louisiana fake family at? You want to be a trader, huh? You think you're good enough to be an investor, huh? You think you can get that bag and not have to worry about going to work, huh? Right? That's all. You're a paper chaser. You're a paper investor. You got them counters on lock, remaining the G, being able to. Y'all get it. Y'all get it. Use it. Let's get it, guys. So, of course, one of many scenarios, but this is why you have to play chess, not checkers. The signs were all there. The signs were there. So you want to be an investor, huh? All right. Come on then. Come on then. Let's go. Right? Let's not be, again, that thing was bullish. After that pullback Tuesday, it was bullish. Look, it was like, I'll holler at y'all. Y'all know your brother with me right here. I was just like that. I'm in. Y'all me all day. I'm in. I'm riding that bull. I got it. I'm going to hold on as long as I can. I'm in. Right? Look here. Bruh. Say no more. Right? One of them scenarios like that. Say no more. Right? So, of course, we follow the money. We follow the money. We follow the money, guys. Let's go. And them contracts were not that bad. Keep my, if it was at $74 Tuesday, right? Look how expensive those contracts are now, right? Of course, this is last week's scenario at the end, because these numbers are not going to be truly reflective of what the entire week started off at, because the volatility obviously increased, the implied volatility, right? But at that point, okay, yeah, let's see here. All the way to again, 73 cents and 90-something cents on Friday. Probably early in the week, some of those were a lot, and then it ran away to 90. So the premiums are getting a little pricey. Why are they getting a little pricey? Well, y'all know anytime the premiums start going up, then it might be something coming down the pipeline. It's somebody building for something. That's why all the implied volatility is starting to increase. It's starting to increase. Look at those implied volatility levels over here. 200% IV, 190 IV, 185 IV, 190 IV, right? Super expensive. Now all the contracts now sitting there looking at what? Dang near what? Four digits, right? To get those contracts now. Some of them 1,000, some of them 900 still, $800, $8 for them contracts. Especially if you're trying to buy in the money, you finna pay easily $700, $800 for them contracts now. All right. And the 120s are about the cheapest you're gonna get it at $100. The 120s. That's what, $30 away, right? $30 away. But look at the volume at those. Somebody trying to say, I'll take a chance. Right? I'll take a chance on taking a chance. You're gonna pay about half a stack for the 95s. Around about $560. For the $100, $4. Yeah. So again, that's a part of I don't want to sit there and beat that horse, but y'all get it. Y'all get it. Just do your due diligence. Learn how to front load. See, because we're supposed to have a front load of that. Of course, I was front loading it, but we're supposed to front load these scenarios, because I figured like it was just adamantly that we knew this news was coming out. They kept talking about it all over the investment world, the TV stations, CNBC, Fox Business News, Bloomberg, Yahoo Finance. They kept talking about this stuff, right? We were sitting there looking at a lot of this stuff and like, God dang it. And then it made us run. It went up again, literally about $16. It went up by $16. So we're not done yet. We got one more, right? We got one more. I know a lot of people like, man, we missed that there, man. I feel like, man, let me get some of that Trump. Let me hit some of that with you. All right, I'm going to need a little something to help me out there, because I missed that one. Let me hit that with you, Trump. Pass that on over here. I could have got that money. if you'd bought in the money around 74, 75 for them weekly expiring contracts, in the money, you've been up $1,700, $1,800 on that trade. By Friday, you'd have been up about between $1,600 and $1,800. Yeah, let me hit that with you, Trump, right? So we gotta look, we gotta get it. So we have another event. We have another one potentially that's gonna come out. Now this one here is somewhat like off the beaten. It ain't off the beaten path, but it can also do something very interesting because it actually did something this previous week that said a whole lot about the markets. Do y'all happen to know what that is? There's another event. Some really interesting news coming out potentially next week. Some very interesting news are potentially coming out next week too. For a company that's been waiting for such a moment for quite a little minute now. And it began to do the same thing we just saw that Moderna was doing. Do y'all happen to know that company? And the reason why I'm saying it because this company also carries weight, right? This one here also carries some weight to a degree in one of these specific indices. Do y'all happen to know what that is? Right, we talking about, and this one here is publicly traded already. Cause yeah, we know about. Yeah. I see you over, Chris. I see a little bit. I see people pumping some answers out there a little bit. Right. Family L car Emporium said locked down. Right. Over Brandon says Pfizer closed. There's another company out there getting ready to potentially do something that's been they've been waiting on this one for a long time. We're talking about over a couple years. That's a hint there. Now that's a hint. If there ever was a hint, I just threw y'all one there. I actually even spoke about this one in the group. I actually posted to y'all a position that I say I took on it. And the sad, crazy thing about it, I was in that position, went down, it came back, right? While it was down, I added another one, right? I bought another one when it came down, right? Now this stock is already publicly traded. It's already publicly traded. It's been waiting for this news for over a couple years. Dang near. Keep in mind, a couple years. It's been waiting on this news for a couple of years. Hint, 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 hint. Close. Y'all close. But keep in mind, we're talking about a couple years. Think about something that been waiting for some news for a couple of years. One that carries weight in the market, too. Carries weight in the market. Come on, y'all. Come on now. Come on. I know I distracted y'all a little bit. Earlier, but come on now. Come on, guys. Come on, fam. I know y'all. I put that plate out there and messed y'all up a little bit there. Come on, guys. Don't get distracted. Yeah. Stay focused, right? Bring them investing minds out. Right? Come on, guys. Y'all so close to. I know y'all gonna like it. When I say it again, just like I just showed y'all the other one. When I show y'all this one here, y'all gonna be like, God, dog, this brother here. This is why I take no days off. This is exactly why y'all brother don't take no days off, right? Oh man, y'all dancing around that thing. God, dog, I'm about to go on. I done gave y'all a good clue. I said a couple years too. This stock been waiting on news for over a couple years. Y'all gonna be like, man, like no. They're gonna like, All right. And since y'all want to, come on, investors, traders. I'm like, golly. All right. Wrote a song about it. One of them snare like that. Wrote a song about it. Like here you go. And again, it's reported to drop this news too. So of course, we'll see if they do it, right? But if it do, y'all already know what it's gonna be. I'm just saying. I'm already looking at y'all like this right here. Like, man, how y'all don't know this here? I know I done threw cheat sheets all over my little Facebook page. I just posted about it in the Facebook group we got. I'm looking at y'all like this right now. I'm just saying, I'm looking at y'all just like this right about now. Come on, guys. Come on, family. Right? I mean, for the y'all ready for this? Come through. Here come the minds. Here come the minds coming through. Here come the minds coming through. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, use them big beautiful brains. What we study for if we ain't trying to front load, right? What are we studying for if we're not trying to front load? Why are we studying if we're not trying to front load? So let's go right on over there and look at this money. Look at this money. Look at this money. Look where it was playing itself after this move, after this. Y'all see that there? Look, we already know what that is. We not even need to act like we don't see what this is right here. We're not gonna act like we only see what's going on there. Clear as day. Clear as day. Right? Clear as day. Even though they didn't even make that move, but I'm just making a little extra because it is like, man, forget all that. We ain't got time for this over here. We just gonna run it. Right? We just gonna run it, bro. Clear as day. Look at how it was just right at that demarcation line. This how they shook a lot of traders out. They shook a lot of people out way back on this in October. It climbed the wall of worry, right? It climbed the wall of worry, brought you all the way to November the 6th at the front door at $1.50. Gapped up massively from $1.50, got above the 200-day moving average demarcation line, like I like to call it, gun line, all the way to 183. From 1.5, 156, all the way to 183. Almost 30 bucks, basically. Almost 30 bucks. Pulls back, consolidates, of course, made it very overbought, got extended, pulls back, surged, went high, got above the linear regression band, got outside of his comfort zone, went up to 194, went almost up in near 194. He ended around a little bit here, pulls back, right? Again, peak to what? We talk about this a lot. Peak to what? The trough. This couldn't sustain. We know that, right? You can't be riding the top of this linear regression band like this without having some kind of taking a breath, right? It took its breath. Clear as day. You see it there. Shook out the weak hands. Shook out the weak hands. Came down to the trough. Established itself. Didn't even come to the bottom of it. They got too greedy. Like, no, we don't even want to touch the bottom of that, bro. We good. And here we go. Marching right back up. Marching right back up. And then after hours, went up there, trying to, like, want to get right. Either way, it went up higher after hours. It gapped up after hours for 186.99, went up and hit like 187.80, 187.70, something like that after hours, somewhere around there. Preparing, right? Preparing. That's why they brought it down. Let me get this off here. That's why they brought the stock price down, right? Get ready for what? Potential what? Launching pad. Now, if the linear regression band is an indication of what we kind of use as also a channel gauge to fluctuate between peak to trough. That's why it's there for a reason. Again, we talk about a week worth of particular trade. And that news is supposed to potentially come out somewhere between the 18th and to the rest of the week. Potentially. Again, it's still potentially. The FAA said they may be looking to sign off on it, on the recertification, by next week. That's all they said. Again, they got to say it that way for a reason, not to politicize it, but look, people who okay, I see, I get it. Here's some of our best case scenarios. We see the mean line, right? Next week's expiration, right? Stops where? On the 20th, right? So that's our cutoff line, right? We got all of this here pinging around as long as we stay in the band, because it showed you clear as day it's trying to stay in this linear regression band. Look at this here. Look where the stock came from, right? Look inside this band here. Y'all see this here. I got to back it out a little bit so we can see it. You see what it looks like inside the band. It's been trading inside the band, even when it was pulling back. So now it's on the bottom end of the band after making such a greedy move. Look at all the volume coming back in, guys. Look at all this volume coming back in. I repeat, right? Look at all this volume coming back in. Look at all this. Clear as day here. Setting up. It's setting up. So again, demarcation line expiring on the 20th. Top of this band on the 16th, 210. Tuesday, 216. Wednesday, 227. Thursday, 235. Friday on the 20th, 243. That's the channel average. Potentially. Again, potentially. It can meander around. The news can't come out. Eventually, it can what? They don't get it. Of course, it's going to pull back. Because they're going to be upset. Y'all know Wall Street is spoiled like little kids. That's best case scenario. Obviously, it can go a lot higher than that. But that's clean, even movement going into that, if that news comes out. So this is why we front load, we study. I got 2 call positions. Hey, I bought 1 call position up here, right around 186. It pulled back on me a little bit more, came all the way down to 174. Like the dirty joker, right? I held it though, because I got it for what? This week coming up. And I bought another one down here though. That helped me out, right? Not that I needed it, but I'm just somewhat dollar cost averaging. I bought another one down here for a shorter call time frame. Meaning, the price is lower. I got a $200 call buy down here. The other one's like 205, something like that. I think I bought it 205 strike price. So sitting at 187. Of course, if it goes up to 190, 192 by Monday, the market's up Monday. Behind the future market Sunday, of course, we could easily be up around about 190. Again, you see the mean line here. I'm not making this up. Mean line is showing you anywhere between, 193, 194, 195, 196, 197. Right? Crazy, the best case crazy scenario, it could end up being around in the 200. Right? People front load, right? People crazy. Y'all know how people are when they come to this money. We just sat there and saw that with some of them other stocks, Moderna. But if that recertification goes down, y'all know it's gonna be lit. If they get that recertification for that plane, right, it's going to be lit. Y'all know they've been waiting a long time to get that plane back in the sky, right? Not making that up. Y'all know. Okay, well, let's see where Boeing came from before all the what, right? All the fireworks, went off and daggered them. Look at that. I have to squeeze the chart down to take it back where it used to be. This drop right here was because of what? Indonesian Air, right? Up here, let's go all the way back to when it really happened. Up around here, right? First, it happened with the Indonesian Air crash. RIP to those people. AIP to those people, right? And then on top of that, after they tried to bail that out, they tried to actually bail them out. Look at it. They brought the thing down only with this far. Anybody else would have got this stock would have got cut in half. That's how it showed you how much money they had racked up into this company and how Boeing could do no wrong, even murder. If you want to call it that, criminal negligence, okay, we'll call it that. Right? Manslaughter, we'll call it that. And then they turned around and had another crash. The Ethiopian crash. That one that daggered the stock. Right? I'm wrong. It was around here. This was the coronavirus. I'm sorry. This was the Ethiopian crash somewhere around here. After the Indonesian crash happened, it fell further, right? It fell further, right? And then turned around not too far after that, in came the Ethiopian crash, and it still didn't want to drop. They still didn't want to drop the stock like they're supposed to. All right? It was up here around 380 and change. I remember like yesterday night, it was around about 380 and change up here, right? Ethiopian crash happens. They brought it down to around about what, 304, 303. They did not want this thing to go underneath that $300 level. They did everything they power to save this stock. And then again, I guess nature, karma, whatever you want to say, somebody's like, you know what, man, look, y'all already dusted. And they sent the coronavirus, whatever. And the coronavirus was the needle that broke the camel back, literally. Coronavirus daggered Boeing. That's why I feel harder than a lot of other stocks, because it was already due for a big drop, because they were seriously criminally holding it up after murdering over, I say murdering because I'm just whatever, after killing over 350 some odd people in their planes, them flying caskets. And then the coronavirus came along and said, you know what, it's time out for all this fooling. Bye-bye, Boeing stock. It dropped all the way from $346 to $92. $346. I was shorting it up in this range too. Y'all remember? Y'all know if y'all remember. I was shorting the break on this fall down. I was shorting Boeing all the way down. You know, taking profit here and there. Of course, $92. And look at it, of course, in context now. Look at it now in context. What is it doing now? It ended around at again. You see what I got my old lines on here and everything, right? Y'all know. You see what's going on here? Falling wedge. Y'all know the falling wedge pattern is. You see a falling wedge? Clear as day. What's happening? Getting ready to gap up. It gapped up, went all the way up to like 233 from 92. Pulls back, consolidates, obviously even the kind of on the small downtrend. And this is kind of the same thing that's happening right now. It's the same thing that's happening right now. Matter of fact, if we update that with, with these little blue lines, it's going to kind of show you that same thing, right? It's going to kind of show you that same thing, right? If we do it like that there, right? If we turn around and do it like this here, right? We'll use that same area to it. Well, let's use it off this one here because that's where it kind of took off from, right? We'll use the same little area here, right? We'll use the bottom of that area there. What do you see here? You see it here. You see here. It's not pinching here. Of course, if I, to draw a tight lines, but it's already starting to kind of get above that level. And you have a U-shaped bottom here, cut pattern here, whatever, for the breakout. It's outside the linear regression band on the daily on this chart, but of course, hey, it's been out there before. Look up here, right? And they're waiting on news, right? You see the gaps that it has to fill. It closed this little gap somewhat, but again, it hit it up here too. But of course, that was this more parabolic move. It came back to earth. So now you got this bullish, this bearish engulfing candle here that it has to take out. It's like it got to go up against the head, what? the head person in charge, the head queen lot lizard or something. Right? That big bearish engulfing candle there, guys, get ate up. It has to. If this thing is gonna what? Ever get back above $200. It takes that candle out, it can get ugly. That little gap there ain't gonna last. These little two here can get overrun. Of course, now we're talking about getting back up then what? 240. That's why that resistance point is 240, right? Somewhere around that 240, right? 250 at the top of this gap here, clear as day. We put this line here for a reason, right? So that's a marquee, right? Based on the shorter time frame of the linear regression band, that's why this area is important. Not a coincidence. It's around about the same size area of that what? That bearish candle here, and there's a couple of those things up in here that's on the spotty up in this area here. Take out those two scenarios there, Boeing stock can be crazy. Look what the 200-day moving average is at. Sitting at what? 194. I said Monday that it has the potential to be up near what? 194, 193, 96. Couldn't make this stuff up. That's how this stuff works. Clear as day, that's how this stuff works. I mean, are y'all following me there a little bit? Of course, still do your own due diligence. I could be wrong with two left shoes, but hey, that's why we study. We're trying to front load. We're trying to, again, get ahead of opportunity. I have a little stop losses set in no position. Hopefully they trigger if it goes against me, right? But I'm playing for that move, right? I'm playing for the move, right? So again, we y'all know how we get down. Let me hold up. All right, it's late. I be going, man. I be trying to bring y'all some data. Here's link, guys. Y'all want to come on the back chat? Hold up, let me get. All right, dog it. All right, there's that link. Y'all want to come on the back chat? We're talking about money now, of course. I got through all the other stuff a little bit, right? And got through the weekend, weekend review through all the the political stuff, right? Right, which is still market related, right? COVID, Trump, and the lockdown, Federal Reserve. Now it's time to get to these stocks, right? Get to the money. It's time to get to the money. Clear as day that y'all see what's going on here. And weirdly so, of course, next week's gonna be popping because again, we still got some good earnings coming out next week too. We got some really good earning plays coming out next week. Right? We have some good earning plays coming out next week. Right? So definitely gonna be looking into those for the, again, not knowing what the week is going to look like next week, especially after what we dealt with this week, it can get darn right messy out there in a good way or what? A crazy way. Either way, next week is going to be popping because there's some decent names out there. We're getting ready to go into what they call. That's why I think that was over Derek Harris brought out that what? He brought out that retail sales, right? Well, guess what? It's the gauntlet of what? Retail sales. Let's go to the chart. Well, let's do it this way. Let's run over here and look at this. Look at next week. Everybody's still trying to figure out what the retail numbers looking like. If people are starting to shop again and all this stuff, consumer indexes and all these things like that, trying to read consumer spending and this, that, and the third, it's all over the place. Look, next week going to be popping. Y'all see it. JD.com kicking it out. Again, Asian company, we know the whole issue with that. That's one still worth watching. Walmart, Tuesday, Home Depot, Kohl's. We know what happened to them. They got, man, woof. Right? They got that work. All right. Lazy Boy, Target, Lowe's, TJ Maxx. Next week. I'm hitting all the retail ones, of course. Right? We hit some other two. Sonos, L Brands. Right? Shoe Carnival. Right? BJ's, Macy's. What? Oh, it's popping next week. These retail better show up. They better show up and shut up. Look at Ross. Right? People couldn't wait to go back to shop at Ross, huh? They couldn't wait to run back to shop at Ross. Foot Locker, Hibbett. End of the week, rounding the week off. Look at those retail names up in there. And that's before we get into all the good ones, the other good ones in here. Smile Direct, Baidu. Right? The Chinese Google, Baidu. That's their version of the Google over there. Alphabet, right? It's Baidu. Right? Boxlight one to watch. Right? Again, some decent scenarios set up here. We already Neo. I was saving that for last, like that bacon. I was saving that bacon. Y'all know I beat the brakes off Neo Friday. Right? I only did it with one contract too. That's what's sad about it. I was so busy I ain't chance to really even trade the market like I want to. So, but I still caught Neo. Man, I know I could have got a couple contracts for that one. At least a minimum of two. Or I would have loved to have gotten three. That'd have been a nice little payout. Nice little bag. Neo got earnings Tuesday after the hours. After the run it made, woof. Gotta keep y'all on that one. That's gonna be that one. They're gonna be, man. That's a lot of people waiting to see what Neo gonna do over Baidu, JD, possibly even over that of what Nvidia. To be honest, there's so much attention on Neo earnings this quarter here around. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I can show you through the money, right? They always say follow the money, right? I can show you through the money. Matter of fact, wrote a song about it like to hear it go. Wrote a song about it like to hear it go. Look at this date, guys. That's Friday, the 13th. Look at all these 13F filings on a Friday. Look at all these 13F filings for this company going into earnings. Some sold, some bought. 5 million, 1 million. Y'all see this though? Somebody dumped, look at them puts. Somebody got puts $2 million. Man, look. And that's just the first page. Look at the second page. Y'all, do y'all know how much volume that Neo had Friday? Did y'all know how much volume they had Friday? Meaning how many shares were traded Friday? That thing traded over 580 million shares. Keep in mind, Neo ain't no small float either. It's not a small float. I think the float on Neo around about 1.3 billion shares. Right here, shares outstanding. What? 1.3 billion. Clear as day, right here, 1.3 billion. That thing traded over 580 million shares Friday. On that so-called news, if you want to say it was a hit piece by Citron, right? Andrew Left, right? Notorious short seller, right? Some of us know about Andrew Left going back years. But I'm sitting there looking at, I'm saying the money, follow the money. Look at all these 13F filings on the 13th. Look at this. 3 million here. Again, that's just the second page. Let's go a little further. Look. Seriously? Goldman Sachs got calls. They got a few of them sprinkled in there. The biggest one was Bridgewater, right? Bridgewater Associates. Y'all know who Bridgewater Associates is, right? Who's Bridgewater Associates? Do y'all know who that is? Who owns Bridgewater Associates? Where my smart folk at in the building? Where my riders at? Who owns Bridgewater Associates? Right? Got to be quick with your Google, right? Got to Google that real fast. Not that you have to know it by heart like I do, but who owns Bridgewater Associates? That's a little housekeeping homework there. Who owns Bridgewater Associates? And I'm saying that because it's significant in two ways. Number one, it's one of the biggest fund allocations out there on the planet. It's one of the biggest hedge funds on the planet. In Bridgewater, who owns it? Right? Anybody in the back chat want to take a stab at that? Bridgewater Associates. Boom. Come through, family Joe Smo. There we go. Come through, brother Joe Smo. Right? There you go, family legendary eights. Ray. Right? Ray's Boom Boom Room, right? Harlem Nights. Where you at? Where my Harlem Night family at? Ray Dalio. He is the CEO owner of what? Bridgewater Associates. Do y'all see what that joker did? Of course, he was already in the position. Look at the size of his position. He added 713,000 more what? Pieces. Look at this. Look what his holding is now. Look what his holding is now. 33 million. Of course, there's some bigger ones out there too. Look at Morgan Stanley, 101, 295 for Renaissance Technology. But look what they did Friday. What Morgan Stanley did. Took some of that risk off the table. 4 million worth shares. Right? Their principal amount was at what? 4,879,000. Market value at that point was what? 101 million. How much did they dump? 4,156,000. Are y'all kidding me? That means they dumped almost their entire position. Why did they do that? Y'all see this here? This is official 13F filing forms here. Why did they dump the majority of their shares? Literally, they dumped almost the entire position. They only got what, about 600,000 shares left in it now, after having near 5 million. Yeah, y'all see it. Y'all see it. Now, could it just be because the stock? Of course, y'all know I showed it about puts Friday. Y'all know I made a little bag, right? About a quick little $500, right? Quick little $500. Now, let's go to the chart really quick here, right? Let's go to this chart really quick here. Let's get this work. Look at this here. Right, this is the daily chart. Look at this here. Let's go back to, matter of fact, let's go to the weekly, so it can really put some context on it. Look at this here on the weekly. So you mean to tell me it's November now? So November of 2019, right? We always look at the 52-week chart as somewhat of a barometer. So you're finna tell me in November of 2019, this stock was trading at $1.70 a share, $1.50 a share, about $1.50. We'll just say $1.50. $1.50. November 2019. From there, it went all the way to $54 until obviously this November of 2020. So we're talking roughly almost what? Near 5,000%. Near 5,000% in a year. Now imagine why Morgan Stanley dumped near 4 million shares if they were in anywhere above the 20-day moving average here. $3, $6, $7, $8, $10, $9, even if they bought at $20 a share. With that kind of amounts of shares, are you kidding me? This thing, we talking about up near 4,000% even still today from a year ago. That kind of money. That kind of money. This is why we study. Right? This is why we study. This is why we look for these opportunities. Come on, you ain't finna tell me y'all didn't have $1.70 back in November last year. Okay, if not $1, okay, $2.50 when it crossed over the 20-day moving average. $2.50. Somebody had $2.50. Well, of course that would have, you would have made $50 off that, in a matter of 12 months, basically sitting on it. $2 would have brought you 52 basically at the peak. Them 13F filings there are revolutionary. Seeing how much money is wrapped up in this stock going into its earnings. That's just the third page. Go to the fourth page. Look at these names that were moving money around all day Friday. Somebody was sitting on what? 3 million shares. They dumped what? They dumped 2 million. Who dumps 2 million shares? 2 million shares. Guess what they had? Puts. Clear as day, you see it there. These B-Fam Farm Partners had puts. Right? Let me go back to my page there. Right? Puts. And I messed, hold up. Now I gotta go back to the front page. I messed my filter up. Let me go back to get my filter right. Right? They had puts. The tune of what? 3 million. It says it clear, you see it clear as day. They dumped 2 million. and holding, obviously, what? $1 million. $63 million. This thing fell 25% Friday from peak to trough before it bounced. It dropped over 25%. You know what 25% look like on a put contract that gives you 100 shares per one contract? And we talk about a minimum of $54 all the way down to 40. So we talk about a roughly around about what? $14 move. That means you get 100 shares per every point, which is equivalent to that of $100, right? Per every what? Every dollar drop. $14. Man, y'all see where I'm going with this? And they had 3 million contracts worth. Or some to that notion of value in terms of the share, in terms of their puts. That kind of, man, yeah. And we still ain't done. This is Friday, 11/13 right there. Let's go to the nigga. Now we just getting to what? Finally get to what? Thursday. And some people still dumping even back then. Barclays got puts. So so many people must exercise there. That's why it's showing that 600,000 and then went. So that's probably what some of those were exercised. Group 1 traded, added calls. All these people front loaders. This stock got earned. This stock traded over 580 million shares Friday. 580 million. Put it on the hourly chart. Look at that. Look at this. Right? I got short somewhere around about 50, somewhere around about $50 with my little puts. I missed the very top. I was somewhere around. I have to go pull it up. When I got filled, meaning my put order got filled. But I wrote it all the way down here. Of course, y'all saw it. I spoke about it. I told y'all I was gonna take it down to the 40s. That was my target. I said them 40s, right? Meaning inside the $40 range, not necessarily just in the 40, but the 40 inside that $40 between 40 to 41. I hit my goal, right? Clear as day. Down here. Hit my goal. And then it bounced. Came back like 45, right? In a half. And then what? Rolled back over. Right? And then after hours, it tried to what? Make another move. Tried to go up a little bit, and then it came right back down. It dropped again by another near 2% after hours. Friday. That energy is still what? Turned over to the downside. All this money going into this thing on earnings, all this betting on this stock and going to the earnings. Look what the stock that came from over the past 3 months. Last earnings, it was trading at what? After it pulled back out, up around, let's say 43 before it pulled back, right? Pulls back, right? No, excuse me, hold up, that's not the one. Hold up, let me do this. Because this is when they changed their date. So this right here is not right. Right? They moved earnings from here to over here. That's why that E is sitting there. Right? They moved their earnings. Right? They moved their earnings. Right? To the 16th. Or in this case, excuse me, the 17th. So I'm about to say, oh, that's in the wrong place. I know it ain't crazy. I get that, I caught that. All right? But no, let's go to the daily chart. I got to show you this really quick here. Right? So we're talking about August, right? Last earnings, right? Obviously, it pulled back. Y'all see that clear as day, the big red candle there. This thing was trading at $13 a share. 13 and went to 54. 13 and went to 54. You're talking about over near 400% dang near in 3 months. 400% in 3 months. A company that's not profitable yet, that's still riding on valuation and a lot of debt, and it's still only producing around about 12. Keep in mind, I like NEO for a long-term play too. True story. I like them for a long-term play, but I still understand that I'm a smart person. I have to pay attention to what the reality of things. The fundamental stretch here is just you going into earnings over 400%. All those hedge funds that you saw on the 13F filing are stacked in this thing and wrote this to and made a killing. This how Wall Street gets rich. Again, anybody that was in even at $7, all that stuff. Now you see why Citron, Andrew Left put out that article. Yeah, it's hard to kind of what? Justify this valuation. You can't. Company ain't even profitable. They're not going to be profitable for another at least 2 years, somewhere around there, a year and a half, 2 years. And you were just at $1. You were just at $1 back in November of last year, $1, and you went up to 54. And it's not like you did, man. Look, you ain't invented a cure for COVID. You just turned out a few extra cars on your production line. Seriously? Seriously. This was a no-brainer for me when I took that put buy. Again, mad I ain't buy more. It happens. Can't get them all. Right? See, this is why we study. This is why we leave no stone unturned. Right? This is why. Right? Y'all know I posted about it on my Facebook page. I was all up and down my Facebook page posting about NEO. Y'all know sometime when I get my little inklings, my little hunch, right? I get that little itch or that little twitch, right? That little twitch. I get to posting about stuff, right? I start posting some stuff. Typically, y'all know what it is when I get to posting that stuff. I'm trying to, lay a framework. So, I posted it here and there, and of course, whatever, posted the articles, and Citron Left did this, that, and the third, and just where the stock is at, and whatever. Same way I did with Moderna. I posted about Moderna as well. Again, we all get busy sometimes. You can't get them all, but of course, for me, y'all know I do this, right? It ain't no secret, right? It ain't no secret. Y'all know your brother. I do this. I mean, I spend a lot of my time curating, this craft to learn more about it, to know to at least stay up, up to speed much as possible. To stay updated. I'll just say that. To stay updated. Because this is a game of what? Being in the know. And seconds matters in this. Nanoseconds, in a lot of ways, matters. How well informed you are puts you in a position where you can what? Get a bag, or even what? A really big bag. Right? Right? Or no bag at all, of course, if you, whatever. But this is it. We say keep one ear to the street at all times for a reason. Right? So again, I'm just showing you all this money out there. That was a ton of money. Even going long, tons of money. From 21, around 21 flat top breakout here, clear as day flat top breakout here at 21. Around, October, from October the 1st all the way to October the 12th, 15th, 13th, breaks out, goes higher after that. That's when the parabolic run really began to be airing apparent. That's when the gap this thing up. It got way out here outside the linear regression band. What do we know about what? Past performance. Stocks that gap up farther outside the linear regression band, they always end up what? Coming back into it eventually. Moving averages act like magnets. They draw you back to them. Once you get what? Ahead of yourself. The stock clearly got ahead of itself. Euphoria, FOMO. But we also know markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. Look at the RSI. Going back as far as what? October the 14th. Overbought. Finally pulled back a little bit. Came back in October 29, went right back into acting like what? Crazy. Overbought. Couldn't make this stuff up. And here it is sitting right at still overbought slightly going into next week. With earnings on Tuesday. And the stock is still up over, close to around about 400-something% in the past 3 months. 3 months. 400%. I mean, all right, yeah, y'all get it. Like the company though. I like the disruptive technology. Love the fact that they're who they are in terms of being able to somewhat try to challenge Tesla. We know they have a different ball game though. because they're financed and backed by the government. Their government backstops them. Right? Their government backstops their whole operation. Even the plant that they produce these cars in is all backstopped by the government. That's how China works. Tesla is 100% vertically integrated. I'm about to say vertigo, right? All right, they're 100% vertically integrated, meaning they do everything in-house, even their technology, I mean, all this stuff they coding, they manufacturing, all this stuff is done in-house in their plants. 100% vertically integrated, and they also moved away from NVIDIA chips to make their own chips. So they even take it to the next level, like Apple just did with this new what? This little M1 chip that Apple just put out, right? Their new microchip that's going to their phones, their laptops, all their devices. They got their own chip now, basically. It's called M1. So people learning how to not, people move away from Intel. They're moving away from those companies now. They're making their own stuff. They figured out how to game. They reverse engineered it. That's what you're supposed to do. Reverse engineer. Keep all that money in-house. Y'all get it. All right? You guys get it. I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on, whatever, right? I can go on and on and on. So next week, again, going to be popping. Just know that. It's going to be popping next week. Again, I just wanted to make sure I did bring note to Neo, of course, because of the fact that, it was the one last week that got all the attention. Well, Friday, of course, definitely Friday. Again, 500 million shares traded. 500 million. 580 million to be exact. With that kind of volume, shucks. That is a shucks. And the spread crazy going into Monday. A $5 dang near what? Yeah, let's say 5.5. 38.50 bid and a $44 what? Ask. So that means that kind of differential, there's still people who still considering selling, thinking about selling. And some people got some stop loss orders that was set. They got really spooked because of how it fell from 54. I think, had a blow off top. It was clear it was a blow off top. Clearly it was a blow off top. And it pulled back all the way to $40, $14 drop. And then it bounced. That kind of money. All right. So again, guys, look, we got some ammunition for next week, right? We got a few names to keep our eyes on. Of course, Neo just won, Boeing's one, Moderna's one. There's others too, of course. But again, next week, retail earnings. Right? I'm gonna have to do that one probably tomorrow. I ain't got enough time tonight to go to all the retail because retail is gonna be crazy. Retail is going to be crazy. The names alone, coming out next week, ahead of all these so-called lockdown events that might be getting ready to happen. Black Friday finna go online, right? It's after Thanksgiving shopping mess, all this Christmas shopping again. But then, who got money for all that if they ain't even cut no stimulus checks? Just more buying stuff on credit, right? More running up the debt. That's why the Fed's scared. They know what's going on. Everything being financed by what? Debt, funny money. Look, what do y'all want me to say? Y'all know this stuff like I know. So all these retail stores, of course, their numbers still gonna be reflected over the past 3 months and not what's coming. But that guidance is gonna sell a lot. Guidance matters. Guidance matters. What are you gonna do going forward? Even if you had somewhat of a what comeback quarter because people start spending money back again, to a degree back in around the summertime when we got phase into like phase 2 and phase 3 are coming out again, or the quarantine, people start spending a little money. They couldn't wait to go shopping and all that. Of course, some of those numbers are going to be reflective in some of these companies, not all of them, but some. But going forward, you still got to get through, man. L Brands, y'all know L Brand, they own Victoria's Secrets, a couple other little stores. Canadian solar ain't gonna be looked at because of what happened with First Solar, Green New Deal with under Joe Biden, all that stuff like that. So some of the energy stock, renewable energy stocks, gonna be looked at. Definitely keep your eye on Canadian solar. Of course, I crushed First Solar in earnest, went long, and cleaned up, turned that little $70 into $2,300 that week. More than 3 days, it was like 3 days, $70 into 2,300, that kind of stuff, right? Y'all know we get down, we working. So you got some names here, guys. So keep, hey, study them. Go through some of these names. Do a little quick little back, a little recon on them. Figure out what's going on with some of these. Learn how to read the world. This is a lot of what the global financial markets are. You become a power player when you get to learn how to, decipher a lot of this stuff that goes on in these stores. Again, it's revolutionary. I mean, to me it is. Of course, I speak for myself, right? So again, some hot names on there. Keep it in mind. Do your studying. Be prepared for anything next week that's wild, because again, markets are still trying to go up. The markets are still trying to go up right now. They are trying to go up. Let's be honest. They are trying to go up. No and ifs or buts about that. The markets are trying to go upward. They're trying to go upward. So we'll see. A lot of people was trying to contrarian trade to drop on what? On NEO, right? Meaning buy calls to try to backstop the market the way that it fell. And the thing just kept dumping. People just couldn't take that L because they got caught in what they call the funny money or the cheap money syndrome, right? They just kept chasing, right? They kept chasing. What they thought was just a bounce. Look at all these call buys before the bell ring Friday for NEO after it dumped the way it dumped. That's what you call revenge trading for a lot of people. Revenge trading. You can tell clear as day. Look at all this mess. 77,000. Some of this stuff was what we were just talking about. Some of them hedge funds and all that. 55,000, 137,000, 60,000, 99,000, 63,000, 139,000, 175, 213,000. I mean, that's the money that they was paying for these, NEO call position. 255, contracts, 500 contracts, 438 contracts. Y'all see this craziness? All this was going into the bell. Look at the volume. All this is showing you the notional value of the volume. That people just buy. Look at it. I'm almost like tick for tick, meaning, tick for tick seconds going into, to the close. 326, 326. Look at the money just wrapped up in that little area. People just throwing money. $70 calls for 2021 for February, 98,000. Look at all the green call buys. Look at how sequential the time frames is, how tight it is. People just buying. Look at it. Somebody buying $28 put buys. Rapid fire style. You can tell that was probably, that's rapid fire style. That was like one person or one hedge fund or somebody like that. When you see it like that, or one market maker dumping all they puts at one time. Sometimes that'll happen too. Look at all, I mean, seriously, 47,000, 43,000, 41. See how those numbers so close? Yeah, that was that was purposely. Whoever did that was purposeful. Clear as day. Follow the money. The numbers don't lie. I mean, y'all see this? Look at that. Peppered up with calls. Still got a few put buys in there trying. And these people that were day trading. Look at the day traders. The day trader for the $43 puts, the expiring Friday, 155,000, 108,000, 70,000, 60,000. These people made a ton of money. They made a ton of money. Of course, that time frame says a lot because we had to see what was happening during that time frame. But this is the entire day. This is the entire day. Look how tight these contracts coming in. All this volume, massive volume. Right? If we go to the daily, in terms of the market scan itself, let's go to NEO. Where NEO at? I know it. Let me see. I know it ended up being around. Yeah. Where you at, Neo? Don't play no games. Don't play no games. Here we go. 573 million shares traded. Kidding me. Bruh. Right? Bruh. That's a $500 million. Man, look. Yeah, look at it. This thing still going. Look at the people that woke up that are optimistic about the trade. These are all the people here got crushed. Everybody that woke up for trying to trade Neo to more highs. Look at that. 50, 56, 55, right? 57, 47. All the people here got crushed. They woke up feeling really good about their situation. Some of these people tried to buy puts too early on. Again, they made money. Of course, they made money, right? These people who made money, of course, major money. The $50 puts, all the people here made a killing. Because it fell all the way to what? It fell $14 from peak to trough. They made a killing. Look at it, $53, $53 puts or $51 puts, excuse me. They made a killing. For lack of better words, but y'all get it. Yeah. That part, right? All $52 put at 9:38 in the morning. Somebody paid $61,000. They bought 464 contracts. They made a killing. If they held this all the way down to 40, man. Ooh, boy. That's 12 points. With $100, per every dollar, right? Times 464 contracts. Y'all see how that worked? 464 contracts. Y'all can do that math real quick, and that should make you sick. That's why options. That's the power of options. At $100 per contract, $100 per every dollar move, which it was 12 points. So that's basically what? 1,200 points. Well, 1,200. Well, 12. Yeah, 12 basically. Yeah, 1,200 points, right? You do that times that 460. All right, yeah, I'm about to log off. Just seeing that made me sick. All right, my little contract, I made a quick little, I was scapping it and made a little money, right? Made a little quick little $500, but man, that kind of money. That stuff, they're just like, man, but again, we study for a reason, right? We're going to get this. We're going to stay plugging. We're going to stay prying away at this. We're going to get this, guys. That's why, again, I know this stuff seems like foreign to a lot of people, meaning, like, well, how do you, keep up with all this stuff? How do you track all this stuff? But this is how I track it. I stay close to the information. I stay close to the information. Of course, that's why all the free publication stuff that I be talking about, why it's important to, to archive some of that stuff. The websites, right? The different websites, that are out there that are useful, right? Constant dropping news around the clock. Look at Market Insider. This one here drops news around the clock. Everything and then some that's happening is dropping news. Right? Breaking news. Last hour, 2 hours or so, it has probably been confirmed to a degree that Elon Musk most likely has moderate case of coronavirus. Remember, he took 2 tests, Friday or Thursday. 2 tests came back positive, 2 of them came back negative. People got concerned, meaning what? Tesla investors. The stock actually pulled back on the news. He has that much power over his stock. The stock even pulled back on the news of Elon Musk potentially contracting coronavirus. 2 tests were again positive, 2 of them were negative. Today, here's some of the news that came out as of today. Last you see it, this just happened last couple hours ago. Elon Musk says most likely has a moderate case of coronavirus. He's still waiting on his the most accurate test to come back, but more likely he feel like he got it. It even actually, the stock actually even pulled back. See how the time on the news pieces is coming out? This is all things market related. I mean, the time is just rapid fire. All this news happening within the last 3 hours. Everything that happened under the last 2 hours, this news is coming out left and right. All these different publications, all wrapped up in one. This is like a police blotter, guys. Not making this up. This is like a police blotter, right? Keeping up with everything happening in the city on the beat, as they call it, the police blotter. Right? Especially y'all military, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about when you see you sitting up and got CQ, and you got to keep up with the blotter. Make sure ain't no soldiers out there acting a fool around town, right? You keep up with that blotter, right? It's like people sit up and listen to police scanners all night. Look, all right. Too much information. TMI. Right? Let me be quiet. TMI. Some people ain't ready yet. I get it. Let me pull back. Fall back, brother. Fall back. We get this money. We don't play around. Right? But this is why we study. Right? This is just one part of it, though. The news, then you got to take it to the fundamental, break down the company, then you got to take it to the charts, break that down. Price action out, break that down. But when you learn how to do all this stuff on the fly, it's just like riding the bicycle. Of course, you still learn as you go, you still study, but it happens very seamlessly when you're in the thick of things, when you know how to turn over information quickly. The relevancy, the relevancy aspect of it, and how important is it, that kind of scenario. Again, all this news is rapid fire. All this news is rapid fire, right? We go to the next tranche, right? Over the past 3 to 4 hours, right? That time frame. Look at all this news instead of dropping. Look at that. Black Friday iRobot Roomba sales deals for 2020. Early Roombas, the early Roomba, excuse me, 675, 960. These are different iRobot vacuums. Y'all know iRobot typically does well on Black Friday. It's a cyclical play. It's seasonal. Go look at the historical records of iRobot stock around November. Couldn't make this stuff up, especially going into Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving. They make a killing selling them little robotic vacuums. They make a killing selling them little robotic vacuums. True story. I'm giving y'all a look. Y'all look. All right. All right. All right. All right. Really quick. Just really quick. All right. I have to go eat dinner, guys. I'm already behind. I'm going to turn to a gremlin tonight. I'll be eating late. Mess around. Turn to a gremlin. Look where iRobot stock's sitting at after that, gap up off that vaccine news. Right? Well, going into not into the vaccine news, but instead of pull back because it was a COVID play. But, riding the idea that, it was still doing good with the stay at home, play. It was a stay at home play. Right? People staying at home, cleaning up. iRobot, right? They get a vaccine. Okay, iRobot, y'all in trouble. Right? But guess what? They getting ready to drop them Black Friday numbers. That may cause it to bounce. You see how it bounced on 200-day moving average here. Still, below the 20-day moving average here, around $79, sitting at 76. Not necessarily on the bottom of the linear regression band, but it didn't break below it after, they found out the vaccine news was out, because that was supposed to really dagger iRobot. It's been run up as a COVID play. It's a COVID play. Think about that. Like Zoom and some of the other ones. So it's starting to bounce. The Moderna news could dagger it more, or it could probably just try to eat off these so-called Black Friday deal numbers that may come out to try to save it. Run it up a little bit again. I don't know. Looks like it's still bull flagging to me off this move here. Definitely. On the shorter time frame, of course, it looks bearish. Of course, look at that move, right, from peak to trough, trough. But it didn't break below the 200-day moving average and close above it. Below it. It didn't close below it. It did not close below it. Breaking below it and closing above it are two different things in terms of how Wall Street looks at this stuff. Clear as day. All right. So that's it. Let me get off here. Let me go get some of these chickpeas, man. I lost my breath. But I don't mind, again. I love this stuff. That's why that's exactly why I have this channel. This is exactly why I have this channel. Of course, I hope to grow it, but even if it don't grow, I'm still gonna put in the same amount of work if it was 2 or 3 people hanging out here with your brother, and we still gonna be getting in, because you know what? It's really for those who are ready to, to get it in. And that's what we do. Again, we're not. This is not congeniality to us. This is not a congeniality contest for us. This is real money. We're dealing with real money for the most part. For many of us, this is dealing with real money. So those who have an interest in this, of course, that's why we hang out in these type of scenarios. If not mine, somebody else's, doesn't matter. As long as you keeping yourself informed, that's all that matters. Keep yourself informed. Right? Keep yourself informed. That's how you get paid. Right? This is exactly how we get paid. Right? So of course, we're gonna keep at it. We're gonna keep banging. We're gonna keep learning. We're gonna keep grinding. If you ain't got your Webull account set up yet, y'all see down there, I got my link down there. Might as well get the free money. They giving out free stock like this. Go ahead and get your free money, man. Throw your little $100 in that thing. It's better than a savings account, bank account anyway. Get them 3 free stocks, and now you at least got money to start investing with. You got 3 free stocks that they gave you for free and the $100. If you don't want to invest that $100, well, wait till those free shares that they're gonna give you settle, and then take your $100 back out and put it in your dead savings account. There, I said it. Right? Put it back in your dead bank account. There, I said it. At least you got the free stocks at that point. Sign up below. My link right there. Get them free stocks. They throwing money away. I'm just teaching you how to hustle. Nothing else. You can get them free stocks. Take your money back out after them stocks settle in your account, and you ain't losing nothing anyway, right? You definitely ain't losing nothing anyway, right? Y'all gotta, man, look. Look. Roll that. That's about the gist of it. So, of course, get paid, right? Get paid. That's all I can say. Study, then study some more, then study a little bit more, right? Come hang out in circles with people doing this on a daily basis whenever you can, when you're free. Increase your knowledge bank. Again, knowledge brings power, power brings profit. Knowledge brings power, power brings profit. Let's go. We're not worried about no president, no Senate, right? No House of Representatives, right? We're not worried about that. We're going to be worried about how to get this money. We the money crats. We are the money crats, right? The political parties have no bearing over how we're going to be able to live and sustain our lives, right? We're trying to get a bag, right? Do any means necessary, of course, legally, right? It seems illegal sometimes, the amount of money that's being made in this in this stuff, but of course, that's what we studied for. It's not. It's our turn to get our piece of the pie, right? And we will not be denied. And we take this serious. Get your kids involved. I keep repeating that. Get your kids involved. Get your peers involved. Get your family members involved. Sign up. Get those free stocks. Then turn around and use your referral link and sign them up and get free stocks. Sign everybody up around you that you know. It don't cost nothing. They don't run your credit. They don't care about your credit. They don't care about your past history. They don't care about what you've done. If you got a felony, if you don't got a felony, they don't care if you got 30 baby mothers or none, single. They don't care if you're lesbian, gay, straight, midget, humpback, smurf, look, a caterpillar. They don't care about none of that. This is not FDIC. This is FINRA. This is not FDIC. This is FINRA. FINRA. Big difference. One gives you a better opportunity to grow money. The other one just holds your money, pinches off of it, and disperses it to other people and block you from getting loans and everything else. There, I said it. So if you got $100 sitting in your useless bank account, if you got $100 sit in your useless bank account, take it out. It ain't getting no money, no interest on it anyway, especially on the money market account, because we had negative interest rates. I'm finna go there. It ain't making no money anyway, sitting in your bank account, especially if you even got a money market account. Sign up the Webull, use my little referral link, or use somebody else's link. Y'all know they got one, right? Put that $100 in there so you can get all the free stocks they're gonna give you, because they're gonna give you free stocks anyway if you just sign up, put nothing in it. But put the 100 in there, they're gonna give you 3 free stocks. Get them free stocks, let them hit your account first. Right? Don't do nothing crazy if you just, it's real, still finicky about your little $100, right? Then you can take your little $100 out of it if you want, and now you're sitting on what? Free stocks. There it is. There's the game. Right? There it is. There's the game. One more time. All right, guys. So I'm gonna get off here for momentarily. All right, let me go and have me a little late dinner. All right. I'm about to chill out, of course, do a little studying. Again, I don't quit, right? I don't stop. I study a little bit of everything, of course. But I'm doing some little studying, eat my little dinner, probably even watch my little fishing show because I couldn't go fishing today, right? All right, just kick back. So I hope you guys enjoying the rest of your evening as well. Stay safe, right? Stay diligent. Excuse me. Stay safe and stay diligent. Stay disciplined, right? Stay hungry. Stay patient, right? Stay humble, right? Let this money come to you. right? Don't chase it. Let it come to you. The market does that. The money, the market provides it. It brings it to you. The market, again, think about that. The money that the market provides brings it to you. Just be well positioned in the right place at the right time. Let them bring that bag to you. That's how we get paid in the market. We set our traps like any other person. We do our research. We do our homework. We study. We place our trades to be what? Right? To as lures, and let the money come to us. Right? We got this, guys. So let's stay hungry. Let's stay patient. And let's stay, again, let's stay invested. Simple as that. All right, guys. So again, see you guys on the next one. Peace, power, profit, Shimotep. Stay safe. See you guys on the next one. Peace, everybody. Peace.